Auntie, don't be afraid, I'm here. Oh my god. My head hurts so much. It seems that Erguotou mixed with sleeping pills is not strong enough. Suyang got up and pounded his head. It was so uncomfortable. Just last night, he drank a bottle of Erguotou in one breath and swallowed a bottle of sleeping pills, but he didn't die. What the hell did I do wrong? You won't even let me die. Suyang pounded his dizzy and painful head frantically, venting his depression. Wuwu Hubby, please stop pounding yourself, okay? Suddenly, a timid voice sounded beside him, and it was a woman's voice. Who? Suyang was stunned and opened his eyes instantly. What came into his sight was a woman with disheveled hair, looking at him cautiously, looking very scared. Young woman. Big sister. Auntie. The woman in front of him seemed to be in her 30s. Although her face was thin, she was very beautiful. The white face was full of tear marks. She was wearing a tattered pajamas and was kneeling beside Suyang in fear. What did you call me? Suyang rubbed his dizzy and aching head, trying his best to recall what happened yesterday. He only remembered. Yesterday, he was alone in the rental house, and he drank a bottle of Erguotou and swallowed a bottle of sleeping pills in one breath. Then, he fell asleep quickly. When I woke up, how come a beautiful older sister suddenly appeared in front of me? It seems. This older sister looks familiar. Who is she? Why is she in my bed? With a dizzy and aching head, I really can't remember who she is. And if I don't concentrate, I can't see it clearly. Husband. The woman looked at Suyang timidly, and then quickly lowered her head. Hands covered her chest, as if the buttons of her pajamas had been torn off long ago. Husband. Suyang couldn't help but get even more confused. Last night, he watched Luo Lin, the goddess he had pursued for 4 years, get into another man's sports car, and was kissed and caressed by that man. He watched the taillights of the sports car disappear. He completely collapsed, so he did something stupid in his own rental house. But now, when he woke up, someone suddenly called him husband. Is it an illusion? Suyang's heart moved, and he reached out to touch the face of this big sister. Wow! Warm and smooth. There were also wet traces of tears. The woman didn't dare to move, and her body trembled slightly because of fear. Brother. The woman seemed to think that Suyang was not satisfied with the title of husband, so she immediately changed it. Brother. Suyang touched the woman's face and became more and more confused. This is a living person, how could it be an illusion? Miss, what's your name? Suyang suddenly thought, is this the takeaway he used the last 1,000 yuan to buy last night? To comfort his wounded heart. Brother. The woman did not dare to move, and immediately began to cooperate with him obediently. My name is Liu Shui. Liu Shui. Suyang was shocked. This name is so familiar. It seems. Why is Luo Lin's best friend named this? Suyang rubbed his head hard and suddenly remembered. That's right. Luo Lin's best friend's name is Liu Shui. But it's not right, this woman is obviously in her 30s, a mature big sister. I don't know how many times more attractive she is than Liu Shui. Suyang reached out and lifted the woman's loose hair to both sides, concentrating on a closer look. It's so strange, how come this woman looks so much like Liu Shui? Liu Shui is Luo Lin's best friend, just a green student girl. Under Luo Lin's halo, she is not outstanding at all. But Suyang knows that Liu Shui is very interesting to him. But he never cared about Liu Shui. After all, Luo Lin is here, why would he care about such a thin girl? Oh. Who cares who she is, maybe she just looks like Liu Shui. How much did I spend to get you to come and accompany me? Suyang only has the last 1,000 yuan left, but now he is not dead, he still has to pay rent and eat, and he needs money. Although this big sister in front of him is very beautiful, it's better to leave some money for food, right? No, I don't want your money. The woman hesitated, her eyes flickered for a while, and then she answered timidly. Oh. Suyang couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief, it's okay. But looking at the pitiful look of this elder sister, it must be difficult to do this job, right? Forget it, I'll give her 500 yuan, half and half. Her pajamas are torn and the buttons on her chest have fallen off. It must be because she tore them too crazy last night. And this elder sister is really pretty. Oh. We are both wanderers in the world. Thinking of this, Suyang turned around and fumbled for his mobile phone at the head of the bed, ready to transfer 500 yuan to this elder sister. Huh. The pillow is not mine. This bed, this room. Suyang shook his dizzy head and looked carefully. No, this is not his rental house. It seems, this should be the room of this big sister. It turns out that this big sister provides family-style service. Click. Tap tap tap. Suddenly, there was a sound of opening the door outside the room, followed by a sound of footsteps, and then, it seemed to enter another room. Who's coming? Suyang was startled. Could it be that the elder sister's husband is back? If they are caught cheating in bed, they will definitely be beaten up again. Suyang quickly got up and planned to quietly open the door a little to see. If her husband is not paying attention, just slip away. Please. Seeing Suyang turn over and get out of bed, the elder sister suddenly jumped down and hugged his legs. She said in a low and anxious voice. She had tears of pleading in her eyes. Husband, please don't disturb our daughter, okay? She is about to take their high school entrance examination, please. Oh. Suyang turned around in confusion. What? It was her daughter who came in from outside. Fuck. I'm not a bad person, why would I bother your daughter? Suyang looked down at the big sister kneeling at his feet, and the more he looked, the more familiar she felt. So he couldn't help but reach out and lift her chin, and looked at her carefully. So similar. This big sister looks so much like Liu Shui. Husband, don't hit me in the face, okay? I have to attend the parent-teacher meeting tomorrow. Chapter 2 Auntie, don't be afraid. The woman's eyes flickered, and she didn't dare to look at Suyang at all. She seemed to be trembling with fear, and tears flowed from her beautiful eyes. Auntie, don't be afraid. The elder sister's daughter is going to take their high school entrance examination, and she must be 15 years old, so she must be 35 years old, right? Now Suyang is only 21 years old, and it is not wrong to call her auntie. Sorry. She is already in her 30s, but she has been taking customers to make money without telling her daughter, which is really not easy. Not to mention, this elder sister is really very attractive. Mature elder sisters are much more attractive than young students. And they provide family-style services, and they call her husband all the time. Alas. If I had money, I would definitely give her more, and I would definitely take care of her business more. Suyang looked at the elder sister at his feet, and his sad heart couldn't help but feel a touch of sympathy. It seems. This elder sister's husband must not be a good person. Or, her husband has passed away. Otherwise, she shouldn't do this kind of business, right? If her daughter knew about it, it would be so embarrassing. Husband, don't go out, okay? I want to go see my daughter, she hasn't had dinner yet. The woman hugged Suyang's legs tightly, and said nothing to let him go out. Okay, I'll stay in bed for a while. Since that's the case, Suyang didn't rush to slip away. Now his head is still dizzy and painful, so he might as well go to bed and sleep for a while. No matter who this elder sister is, anyway. One night of marriage is 100 days of grace. Okay? Seeing this, the woman loosened her arms that were tightly hugging Suyang. Please, husband, don't go out. My daughter is about to take their high school entrance examination. Okay, don't worry. Suyang waved his hands dizzily, climbed back onto the bed, pulled the quilt and lay down. A faint fragrance came. Suyang couldn't help but feel dazed. After 4 years of pursuing Luo Lin, he didn't even kiss her little mouth. Unexpectedly, he finally found a charming older sister and spent a night together. But Suyang couldn't remember anything about what happened last night, as if he had lost his memory. Snap. Snap. Suyang was thinking about all sorts of things, and the older sister had turned off the lights and left the room, closing the door. Mom, why are you still with that stinky man? I hate him so much. An angry girl's voice came from outside. Shh. Speak softly, after all, he is your biological father. When you were a child, he hugged you every day. This was the older sister's voice, but it was very low. HMPH. I just hate him. He beats you every day, he is not a human being. The girl's voice was full of disgust, as if she hated the man in the room. Suyang was confused. Who are these two talking about? The older sister just kept calling me husband, and now she's saying he's the little girl's father. Oh my god. Did I travel through time? Reborn. Are you sure? But, I drank a bottle of Erguotou and swallowed a bottle of sleeping pills yesterday. Logically, I should be dead, right? In an instant. Suyang got up with a gurgle. He woke up from the drunkenness. Then he reached out and fumbled around the bedside and turned on the bedside lamp. Fuck you. Suyang quickly looked at himself. This pajamas. It's not mine at all. I've never worn pajamas like this before. Mirror, mirror. Suyang continued to look around, trying to find a mirror to look at himself. At the same time, he reached out and touched his face. This. Why is the beard so scruffy? I'm only 21 years old, okay. I only have a few slightly long beards on my chin. How did I grow a full beard overnight? Suyang was shocked instantly. It seems that I was really reborn. If I was reborn, what about my current memories? Why not? Why do I only have memories before I drank and took drugs? Where's my phone? He quickly lifted the pillow and searched frantically. Where's my phone? Oh, there's one on the bedside table. What a novel phone. But why does it seem familiar? Suyang reached out to take the phone and pressed it habitually. Fingerprint unlock. Wow. It actually unlocked. Suyang directly clicked on the camera and switched to the front camera. In an instant. He was stunned. The video showed a man with a beard. He looked about 30 years old. How come this man looks so much like me? Could this man with a beard be me? Suyang quickly checked the time on his phone. 2024. Wow. Yesterday was clearly 2009. This. It turns out that I really traveled through time, and traveled to 15 years later. The pitiful and beautiful young woman just now turned out to be my current wife. I actually thought she was a lady before. It's a bit interesting. I didn't die. I actually have such a perfect and beautiful wife. Fuck. The taste of this mature and beautiful young woman is much better than that bitch Luo Lin. Although she looks like Liu Shui, she is indeed much more delicious than her. This is really interesting. Did God know that I prefer older sisters, so he let me travel through time and reincarnate 15 years later? OMG. Such a stunning young woman is actually my wife. I have never experienced such a thing before. He. Then I have to experience it well. Outside the room. Mom, tell him to get out of here, I don't want to see him at all. I really hate him. Sure, keep your voice down, silly girl, he is your dad anyway. Suyang's wife was still comforting her daughter, saying good things about her dad. This. Suyang couldn't help scratching his head, and a surge of anger surged in his heart. Is this how I have been for the past 15 years? My wife is so scared of herself. My daughter hates herself so much. OMG. Suyang wanted to get out of bed and hug his wife and children. Then tell them seriously that I will be a good father and husband in the future. But after thinking about it, he gave up the idea. The ice is not formed in one day. The current state of his wife and children shows that he, Suyang, has never really treated them well in these years. Let's wait and don't scare them anymore. Chapter 3 Husband. I'm ready. Suyang looked around the bedroom in the light of the bedside lamp. It was obvious that this was an old house, and the furnishings in the room were very simple. Even the door of the big wardrobe beside the bed was about to fall off. The clothes hanging inside seemed to be old. What a mess. Such a beautiful wife, but she doesn't even have a new piece of clothing. I don't know how long it took. The door of the room opened, and Suyang's wife came back. Suyang opened his eyes and saw her standing by the bed in the dim light, holding a water cup in her hand. She was still wearing the tattered pajamas. It was just that the button that was torn off on the chest seemed to have been sewn up. Husband, drink some water. The child has fallen asleep. Suyang sat up with a grunt, staring at his stunning wife in front of him. Just now she said her name was Liu Shui. This name is so familiar. Isn't it the name of Luo Lin's best friend? Fuck. I have no memory after rebirth. It's really a headache. Hubby, slow down. Seeing Suyang sitting up, the woman held the cup with both hands and handed it over carefully. There was a gentle and flattering smile on her face. But Suyang could see that the smile seemed a bit fake. Su Yang looked at his gentle and beautiful wife, his heart pounding. With a slightly trembling hand, he took the cup from her hand. He touched her hand accidentally. It was warm and tender. Thank you, wife. Su Yang took a sip of water to hide his embarrassment and the heat in his eyes. Then he tried his best to suppress the excitement in his heart and thanked her softly. Fuck. This wife is so beautiful. It's really exciting. Liu Shui stared at Su Yang in a daze, not knowing how to respond for a moment. What happened to him today? Why did he say thank you to me? And he called me wife so gently. When he was happy, he called me girl, little girl, and beat me without knowing the severity. When he was unhappy, he called me lady, bitch, and beat me without knowing the severity. But he has never thanked me. What happened to him today? Looking at his drunken appearance, weird expression, and the desire in his eyes, it's so scary. He won't beat me up again, right? But my daughter is at home today. I just hope he can beat me less. Su Yang finished drinking the water and smiled a little embarrassedly. He just reborn and is not familiar with his wife. This gentle, beautiful and mature elder sister in front of me really makes people imagine a lot. Husband. Liu Shui looked at Su Yang's smile and was immediately frightened. It seems that he is very happy today. Wife, did I mess around last night? Sorry, your clothes are torn. No. It's okay. I'm used to it. I just hope you can be gentler when you hit me in the future. The child is at home today, can you please not hit me? I have to attend a parent-teacher meeting for her tomorrow, and I don't want others to see it. Liu Shui squatted at the head of Su Yang's bed and begged softly. This. Su Yang looked at his wife's trembling and worried expression, and couldn't help but be a little confused. Why would I hit you for no reason? Such a beautiful and charming wife, I will only love you well, right? Wife, How could I hit you? Get up. Su Yang reached out and pulled her sleeve, not wanting her to continue squatting on the ground. She looked like she had been beaten by him for many years, and had serious sequelae. Liu Shui's eyes flickered, as if she was a little confused. Husband. You really won't hit me today. Liu Shui didn't dare to move, with a hint of expectation in her eyes. The pitiful look made Su Yang feel so distressed instantly. Damn it. It seems that I beat her a lot before. What a beast. No, don't worry, wife. Su Yang scratched his head, quickly reached out and held her arm, and pulled her up. Such smooth and soft arms. Such a perfect figure. This wife is really the best. Well, okay, you can just hit me lightly later. Liu Shui couldn't help but let out a sigh of relief. For so many years. Whenever he came home, he was basically drunk every time. Every time he came back, he would basically hit her. It's just that sometimes he hit me lightly, sometimes he hit me hard. Since he came back from drinking yesterday, I have slept for a whole day. Now that he is sober, he will definitely start hitting me again. It's just that he is in a good mood today. If I am right, he will definitely hit me lightly. Snap. Liu Shui turned off the bedside lamp. Then she turned around and sat on the bed gently, took off her slippers, and climbed onto the bed. She shivered slightly and climbed into the bed. Hubby. I'm ready. Su Yang couldn't help but feel excited. Even his whole body was shaking slightly. This. Is it possible that I will enjoy such extreme happiness so soon? Amen, Amitabha, hallelujah. So fast, so fast. If that's the case, then what are you still hesitating about? Su Yang shrank down and lay down. Turning around, he pressed against Liu Shui's back. Trembling. Obviously trembling. Su Yang didn't know whether she was scared or excited. Leaning against her back, his heart couldn't help but pounding. If the amnesia before doesn't count, this is the first time Su Yang has touched a person of the opposite sex so closely. Wife, I love you. Su Yang said softly with courage. This is the first time he has said such sweet words to a woman. Even he himself felt that there was a slight tremor in his voice. Let a 21-year-old soul be next to a strange mature young woman, it would be strange if he wasn't excited. Hubby. Actually. I've always wanted to ask you. Have you ever really loved me? Liu Shui's voice was very soft, with a hint of resentment. Of course. How could I not love her? Su Yang said without hesitation. Such a good wife. If you don't love her, are you still a human being? At least you shouldn't be a man, right? Chapter for wife, let me take good care of you. My wife is so gentle and beautiful, of course I like her. In fact, Suyang didn't know how to say any love words, and he had no memory of the past, so he could only say something vaguely. He had only pursued Lorraine before, and at most he had just held her hand. As for sweet talk, he's really not very good at it. Thank you, husband. This is the first time you have praised me. There was an obvious hint of crying in Liu Shue's voice. The body also trembled slightly. Wife, from now on, I will always praise you like this, okay? Suyang was not very clear about the details of how he had treated her in the past, and knew basically nothing about the past. But he guessed. He must have been a beast in the past. But this matter, actually he did it all himself. Okay. Hubby, next time you come back, can you please not drink so much? Drinking is bad for your health. Liu Shui used to advise him not to drink, or at least not to get drunk. But every time I tried to persuade him, he would get angry. But this time, he was drunk for too long. Even if it means risking a beating, you still have to give him some advice. Okay, I'll listen to my wife and stop drinking. Suyang put his arm around Liu Shui's shoulders and spoke softly. Good. Liu Shui responded softly, tears streaming down her face uncontrollably. This was the first time he listened to what she said, and also the first time he didn't get angry. Honey, don't cry, it's all my fault. Anyway, I don't know what he did in the past, but it's always right to admit mistakes. Hubby, Wuwu. Liu Shui seemed to have suddenly found an outlet for her emotions and couldn't help crying. However, the crying sound was very soft, as if the woman was trying hard to restrain herself. Oh my god. I really was a beast in the past. Otherwise, why would she feel so wronged? Wife, I've treated you so badly, have you ever thought about divorce? Suyang couldn't help but feel a little curious. Since her husband was such a beast, she might as well find someone who loved her. No. My dear husband, I swore that no matter how you treat me, I, Liu Shui, will love you forever. Husband, do you think I am a bitch? Suyang clearly felt that her body was still trembling slightly. Well. Suyang couldn't help but sigh softly. I never thought that my wife is such a sentimental person. What a loving, righteous and pitiful woman. For a moment, Suyang couldn't help but sigh. How nice it would be if Lorraine loved me like this before. Unfortunately, I don't have this blessing. Damn it. He was so angry at Luo Lin that he swallowed a large bottle of sleeping pills. Wife, you are so nice. Suyang suppressed his excitement and quietly held Liu Shui's little hand. Hubby, you were so nice to me today. I hope you can be so nice to me every time you come back. There was obvious anticipation in Liu Shui's voice. Okay. Of course, I, Suyang, will keep my word. Suyang put his arm around Liu Shui's shoulders, wanting her to turn around. Turning my back, it seems weird. Liu Shui turned around obediently and curled up timidly. Neither welcoming nor refusing, she looks like she is ready to pick you. Okay, honey, stop crying. Alas, I am such a beast. Suyang couldn't help but sigh, then he hugged the curled up Liu Shui in his arms. Hubby, as long as you don't hit me, I will be really satisfied. As for the child, I will find a way to take care of her myself. Okay, your husband will never hit you again. Suyang suppressed the excitement and weirdness in his heart, gently stroked Liu Shui's back, and comforted her softly. What's going on with my wife's back? Why does it look like there's a scar? Oh my god. What is going on? Was it a fight? Wife, does the injury on your back still hurt? Suyang gently stroked the scar on Liu Shui's back, and couldn't help feeling heartache. Such a beautiful and charming wife. I actually hit her. This is too beastly. Oh my god. I really deserve a beating. Well, you were just beaten yesterday, so the wound still hurts a little bit. It's okay, honey, I'm used to it. Wife, do you hate your husband? No. I don't hate my husband, I don't hate. Liu Shui curled up in Suyang's arms, her voice revealing a hint of resentment. He said he didn't hate her, but I could feel that there was obvious resentment in his heart. Wife, I'm sorry for making you suffer. As he said that, Suyang couldn't help but hug Liu Shui's slightly thin body tightly. He was very excited, but he also felt particularly sorry for the woman in his arms. Hubby, thank you for not hitting me today. Forehead. I should thank you for not getting beaten. Well. What a poor woman this is. Wife, let me take good care of you. Such a pitiful and docile woman is simply the best. Su-yang couldn't help but impulsively hug Liu Shui tightly in his arms. Such a mature, beautiful, gentle and lovely wife must be taken good care of. Taking care of her 8 or 10 times a day would definitely not be too much. Okay. Thank you, honey. Did you win money playing cards? After listening to Su-yang's words, Liu Shui couldn't help but feel a lot more relieved. He is really a little different today than before. He even said some heartwarming words for the first time. Play cards. Su-yang was stunned. When have I ever played cards before? Not to mention winning money. Well. Su-yang couldn't help but be stunned. Did I play cards often? Playing cards, drinking, and beating your wife. Wife, I won't play cards anymore. Before Su-yang was reborn, he did not gamble. Then after being reborn, I definitely don't have to play cards. Liu Shui couldn't help but be speechless. This man doesn't seem to have changed at all, he still talks nonsense. He used to drink and play cards every day. This is his fate. Now he says he won't play cards anymore. Who would believe him? Okay, I hope you can keep your promise. There was obvious disappointment in Liu Shui's tone. The slight joy I felt just now has now disappeared without a trace. However, she snuggled in Su-yang's arms, not daring to move. Chapter 5 Treasure Woman. For a man like this, no matter how nice he sounds, he might turn against her and beat her up at any time. Harmful. Anyway, it has been more than 10 years, and I'm used to it. Husband, since you said you won't hit me today, I want to say one more thing. Well, wife, you say. My child is going to take the high school entrance exam soon. With her current grades, she can only get into the second-tier list of number 1 middle school, which will probably cost a lot of money. Don't go to Lorraine anymore, she doesn't like you at all, she's just trying to cheat you out of your money. Liu Shui clenched her hands and spoke in a trembling voice. She knew that after she said that, she might anger him and get a beating from him. But for her daughter's tuition, she had to say it. Anyway, we can't let her go find other men for it, right? Lorraine. Su-yang couldn't help but be shocked. I've been reborn, why do I still have anything to do with Luo Lin? Besides, I can't even hate her now, why should I spend money on her? Her name is Liu Shui, and now she is talking about Luo Lin. These two names mean best friends. Is there such a coincidence in the world? Hubby, did you hear what I said? Luo Lin almost killed you more than 10 years ago. Why do you still miss her? I am advising you this way. It is for your own good, and also for the money for our children to go to school. Su-yang's head couldn't help but buzz. Oh my god. Wife, from what you said, Lorraine almost killed me before. Yes, husband, have you forgotten? That night you drank a bottle of Erguotou and swallowed a whole bottle of sleeping pills. Hey, if I hadn't come to find you, you might have really died. Su-yang couldn't help but feel shocked. Damn it. So that's what's happening. My wife in my arms. It turned out to be Luo Lin's best friend Liu Shui. I never expected that the skinny and weak girl before would grow up to be so beautiful. With his mind shaken, Su-yang's previous drunkenness disappeared completely in an instant. Bang! He turned around and reached out, then touched the switch on the wall. The lights in the house came on. Su-yang sat up suddenly and rubbed his eyes. Brush. He pulled back the quilt. Hubby, you said you wouldn't hit me. Su-yang used the light from the headlight to carefully look at Liu Shui, who was curled up on the bed. He was trembling, his eyes were flickering, and his whole body was shaking uncontrollably. It seemed as if he was about to be hit by a torrential rain of punches. Liu Shui. Wife. Su-yang gently lifted her long hair that was covering her face, with surprise in his eyes. Husband. Please don't hit me in the face, okay? I really have to attend my child's parent-teacher meeting tomorrow. Please, okay? Liu Shui held Su-yang's arms tightly with both hands, her eyes full of pleading. Okay, I won't fight you, I definitely won't fight you. At this time, Su-yang's mind was still in shock, he just nodded following Liu Shui's pleading. Okay, then you fight. Liu Shui climbed up with a grunt, turned around and knelt on the bed. Turned his back to Su Yang. And lifted up her shirt. Hiss. Su Yang saw it clearly now. Liu Shui's back is covered with scars. This. Su Yang couldn't help but be shocked. How freaking scary. He shook his head and rubbed his eyes. There are so many scars on such a perfect back. I hit this. Worse than beasts. Wife, turn around and let me see you. Su Yang felt like his head was full of confusion and question marks. You said you wouldn't hit me in the face. Don't worry, I won't fight you, I won't fight you. Good. Liu Shui turned around trembling, lowered her head, and her whole body was still shaking with fear. Forehead. What a perfect body. Su Yang couldn't help but feel dazed. Wife, please put on your clothes quickly, don't catch a cold. Su Yang's eyes turned red and his throat couldn't help but feel a little dry. This is the first time I've had such close contact, so perfect. Su Yang quickly reached out to help Liu Shui put on her pajamas. Wife, was it really you who saved me back then? Yeah, hubby, have you forgotten all this? Su Yang reached out and lifted Liu Shui's hair, looking at her in shock. That's right. No wonder she looks so much like Liu Shui, it turns out she is Liu Shui. But she was obviously just a skinny and weak little girl, how come she is so pretty and charming now? Hubby, what's wrong with you? Why are you looking at me like that? Forehead. Liu Shui, I suddenly realized that you are really beautiful. Honey, you didn't call me a chick or a little silly today. I'm so happy. Liu Shui quietly observed Su Yang's expression and he didn't seem to be angry at all. Wow. Liu Shui actually became my wife. And she has become so beautiful and charming. If we compare Luo Lin with the current Liu Shui, 10 Luo Lins are not as good as 1 Liu Shui. In terms of docility and obedience, Lorraine is even worse. Oh my god. I was reborn 15 years later and I got married to Liu Shui. But looking at the situation now, it seems that I have tortured Liu Shui for more than 10 years. Just look at the scars on her back. There are a lot of new and old scars. I really don't know how much inhuman torture I have experienced. Was I so shameless before? Was I such a beast? Such a beautiful woman, how the hell could I bear to do that? Liu Shui. Su Yang was reborn, but he had no memory of the past 10 years. His memory only stops at 15 years ago. At that time, Liu Shui was just Luo Lin's best friend and roommate. At that time, she only liked Su Yang one-sidedly. But now, she suddenly turned into such a charming mature young woman. This made Su Yang a little flustered, but at the same time he was unstoppably excited. Such a woman is simply a treasure woman. Chapter 6. It's okay, she's my daughter after all. Let me take another look at your injuries. It's okay, husband, it doesn't hurt anymore. Seeing that Su Yang was not angry, Liu Shui felt a little more relaxed. Without any hesitation, she turned around and lifted up her clothes. When Su Yang saw Liu Shui's back covered with scars again, he still couldn't help but gasp. Brute. What a fucking beast. Harmful. Su Yang felt a pain in his heart, and then silently helped her put down the lifted clothes. Go to sleep. He finally understood it now. Liu Shui is Su Yang's wife, and the child outside is his and Liu Shui's daughter. Daughter. Now he has a 15-year-old daughter. What's her name? Su what? But Su Yang was too embarrassed to ask Liu Shui again. How beastly is it for a father to not even remember his own daughter's name? Forget it, I'll find out after looking at the child's book tomorrow. Su Yang turned off their headlights with a heavy heart and retreated back into their bed. It seems that here. It was originally Su Yang's home. And a wife and daughter, a family of 3. Husband. Liu Shui turned around on her own initiative, facing him and curled up. Come. Although Su Yang felt a little embarrassed, he was more inexplicably excited. In his memory, Liu Shui was a thin girl who had a crush on him yesterday, but now she has turned into a beautiful and docile young woman. This change is really huge. As soon as he stretched out his hand, Liu Shui curled up and snuggled in Su Yang's arms. Hubby, our daughter is home today, can you please be a little more careful? Good. Su Yang knew that his daughter's room was right next door, and if the noise was a little louder, it would definitely affect the child. Not long after. A wave of sleepiness came over me. Su Yang fell asleep with Liu Shui curled up in his arms. Early the next morning, when Su Yang woke up, Liu Shui in his arms was gone. Ho, sizzle. The sound of cooking could be heard from the kitchen outside. It seems like frying a poached egg, it smells quite nice. After a while, Liu Shui pushed the door open and came in, wearing a dark pink dress that had faded from washing. She has a nice figure with a curvy figure. Su Yang was a little stunned for a moment. It even feels like a dream. Hubby, get up and eat. The child is immature, please don't be like her later, okay? Please, husband. Liu Shui squatted at the head of Su Yang's bed, begging softly. Okay, no problem, she's my daughter after all. Su Yang nodded a little confusedly and agreed without any hesitation. It seems that the harm done to my wife and children before was too deep. When Su Yang finished washing up, Liu Shui and her daughter were already sitting on the chairs at the dining table waiting. Dad is here, Lei, come eat quickly. Hubby, come and sit down. Liu Shui stood up, smiled and pulled out a chair for Su Yang, waiting for him to sit down. Well, eat. Su Yang nodded a little awkwardly and sat down directly. This home. It is a small old two-bedroom house, probably about 50 to 60 square meters. Although the house is old, it is very clean and tidy inside. Hubby, after dinner, Lei and I will go to the school for a parent-teacher meeting and will be back soon. Lei did quite well in this exam. Liu Shui ate and looked at Su Yang with a smile. Today he is a little different than before. Normally, he would either sleep until mid-morning or just go out. Okay, Lei, keep working hard. Su Yang looked up at his daughter and gave her some encouragement in a somewhat embarrassed tone. This girl is really beautiful. Some look like him, and some look like Liu Shui. Both the face and the figure are nice. Although she is only 15 years old, she has grown into a beautiful girl. But the child pretended not to hear and just kept eating. He didn't even look at Su Yang. Lei, Dad is talking to you, do you hear me? Liu Shui looked at the child and spoke in a slightly heavier tone. The child still didn't say anything, just ate silently. You kid. Liu Shui shook her head helplessly, turned her head to look at Su Yang, with a hint of apology in her eyes. It's okay, eat quickly. Su Yang nodded at Liu Shui and smiled slightly. Who can he blame for this? It was all his own fault. Honey, let's go to school, you. When Liu Shui went out, she looked at Su Yang, as if she wanted to say something but hesitated. Well, go ahead, I'll wait for you to come back. Okay, husband, let's go. Liu Shui listened to Su Yang's words, with a hint of joy in her eyes. Soon, Liu Shui and her daughter left home. Wow. This is my Su Yang's home. Su Yang stood up and began to walk around this small two-bedroom apartment. Small living room, small kitchen, small bathroom. My daughter's room is not big, and the windowsill next to it is neatly filled with books. Su Lei. Oh, it turns out my daughter's name is Su Lei. The girl is pretty, but her relationship with her father is completely hostile. The master bedroom is slightly larger and has two large wardrobes side by side. One of the cabinet doors had fallen off its hinges and was about to fall off. Open the wardrobe. There were quite a few clothes inside, but none of them were new. There was also a large cardboard box in the closet, which was surprisingly filled with strange clothes and items. Forehead. Su Yang was stunned for a moment, but soon he understood. This pile of messy things must have been used by him to torture Liu Shui before, right? The house was small and Su Yang finished looking around quickly. Then he went back to the master bedroom and picked up the phone. This phone is really good and quite advanced. Su Yang felt very strange. He probably wouldn't be able to use this phone now. But he felt inexplicably familiar with it, as if he could use it right away. After unlocking the phone, Su Yang looked at himself and fell into deep thought again. Damn it. I really was reborn 15 years later. WeChat, QQ, Douyin, Kuaishou. A wide range of software is available. Su Yang obviously felt familiar with all these software. I don't know why, but it feels familiar. ICBC app. After seeing this app, Su Yang raised his hand and clicked on it. Chapter 7 I have no regrets. Fuck. Su Yang saw the balance of the bank card, it was 1.9868 million. Since you have so much money, why don't you improve the lives of your wife and children? Why don't you try to change to a bigger house when it's such a shabby house? Harmful. It seems that he was really a beast before. Anyway, Su Yang has no memory of the past 15 years. He really can't remember how he got through these 15 years. Ding dong. Su Yang's cell phone rang. He clicked on it and saw that it was a message from a friend on WeChat named, "My name is Da Meili." Su Yang, what's wrong with you today? We are short of one person, hurry up. Oh my god, who is this beauty? Su Yang flipped through the previous chat records. Wow. This great beauty turned out to be Lorraine. And the chat records are very ambiguous. Transfer records are occasionally interspersed in the chat records. From dozens to hundreds, to thousands to tens of thousands. Su Yang knew that April 15th was Luo Lin's birthday. Looking at the date, it happened just a few days ago, and I actually transferred more than 20,000 yuan to her directly. According to the chat records, Luo Lin liked a necklace, but her boyfriend refused to buy it for her, so Su Yang transferred money to him. No wonder. No wonder Liu Shui said Luo Lin was cheating him out of his money. This is too obvious a lie, isn't it? Su Yang casually flipped through the chat records in recent period and made a calculation, and found that he had transferred more than 50,000 yuan to Luo Lin. It's really shabby. I was hurt so badly by her before, how come I fell into her gentle circle later? Ding dong. Lorraine sent another message. What's wrong, Su Yang? Are you tied up by that shrew at home? Are you afraid to come? If you don't come within an hour, I won't talk to you anymore. Su Yang looked at the message sent by Luo Lin and couldn't help feeling nauseous. The scene of her getting into someone else's sports car and being kissed by another man is still vivid in her mind. In Su Yang's view, that was what happened the night before yesterday. Now you order me to rush over immediately. Vomit. It seems. She has fooled me a lot over the years. I don't know what she has become now. Why hasn't she gotten married yet? How did she cheat me out of my money? Su Yang pondered for a moment and did not rush to turn against Luo Lin. Baby, I feel a little sick in my stomach, so I won't come today. He quickly replied to Lorraine in the same tone as before. But, I really feel like vomiting. Since Luo Lin hurt him so deeply and cheated him of so much money, he had to find a way to get it back from her. A moment later, Lorraine's message came again. Okay, let your old woman take care of you before you come back to me. I don't know how to serve anyone anyway. By the way, baby, I saw a bag yesterday. Damn the bag. Su Yang looked at the message sent by Luo Lin and couldn't help but get angry. Your preference for bags has nothing to do with me. Wouldn't it be better if I used this money to buy some clothes for my wife Liu Shui? Harmful. Liu Shui's skirt turned white after washing. How much is a skirt worth? How many skirts can you buy with the money of a high-end bag? Oh, I'll buy whatever I like. Ouch, my stomach feels bad. Honey, Liu Shui is not at home. Can you buy some medicine for me and bring it over? Su Yang thought about it and sent another message back. I'm playing mahjong right now, so I don't have time to buy you medicine. Hurry up and call Liu Shui and ask her to buy it for you, okay kiss? She went to the school for a parent-teacher meeting today and won't be back for a while. Ouch, it hurts so much. Be a man, it's no big deal, really. Just bear with it for a while. By the way, baby, the bag costs 8,800. Please transfer the money to me quickly. I plan to buy it this afternoon. It will look great if I carry it on my back. Su Yang chatted with Luo Lin for a few words, and then he was so angry that he threw his phone on the bedside table and didn't want to talk to her anymore. Su Yang changed his clothes, found the key to his house from behind the door, and planned to go out for a walk. He has now been reborn 15 years later and needs to familiarize himself with his surroundings. Su Yang walked out of the unit and silently memorized the specific address of his home. Then he slowly walked out of the community. This is an old community called Ping'an Community. Su Yang didn't have much impression of this community, but he felt somewhat familiar with it. Su Yang, you didn't go to play cards today. While walking on the street, someone greeted him with a lewd smile. No. Su Yang felt that this person looked familiar, but he had no idea who he was. Did you bother your wife again tonight? Do you want me to help you, har har? Get lost. Su Yang couldn't help but turn his head and glare at him. He cursed directly. What the hell are you? Then he ignored him and walked straight to the door. Ping'an Road. Looking at the name of the street, Su Yang tried hard to recall, and some information seemed to slowly overlap. Oh. This city is still Jiangcheng. But the appearance of the city has changed so much. There are tall buildings everywhere, and new buildings are rising from the ground. Somewhat strange, yet somewhat familiar. The past and the present, two pictures kept circling and merging in Su Yang's mind. Ding dong. Su Yang's cell phone rang again. He thought it was still a message from Lorraine, but when he opened it, it wasn't. Instead, it was a message from a friend with the remark, "Xiao's City Goods. Honey, did you go out today? If not, I want to cook you a fish at noon." Forehead. This little bitch is actually Liu Shui. Damn it. He actually named his wife like this. Su Yang clicked on the avatar and deleted the note. Her real online name is I Have No Regrets. In an instant, Su Yang felt a surge in his heart again. This woman is truly a treasure young woman, and deserves to be cherished. Wife, I'm not going out. Okay, let's cook some fish. After Su Yang replied to the message, he thought about it and then transferred 500 yuan to Liu Shui via WeChat. Then I looked through the chat records between him and Liu Shui. There is too little content. And it is full of swear words. For example, get out, Sabai, come here, why don't you just die? Wear those purple transparent stockings at night so that I can see. And there is not even a single transfer record. A moment later, Liu Shui initiated a voice call. Honey, I still have money. It was obvious that Liu Shui's voice was very excited, with a slight hint of tears. Keep it. I'll give it to you when you've used it up. Well, thank you, husband. Please wait at home for a while, I will be back soon. Only a few sentences were spoken during the entire call, but Liu Shui was obviously very excited and happy. Chapter 8: The Terrified Good Woman. After Su Yang hung up the phone, he went to a hardware store on the street. When he returned to the gate of the community, he saw Liu Shui also coming back on an electric bike. Husband. Liu Shui quickly got out of the car and came to Su Yang. There was an indescribable joy and expectation in those cautious and worried eyes. Honey, what kind of fish did you buy? I know you like to eat sea bass, so I bought 2 for you. Honey, do you like them? How about one braised and one steamed? The surprise in Liu Shui's eyes became more obvious, and there seemed to be a hint of flattery in the tone of her voice. Well, I like it. I can do whatever I want. Thank you, wife. Su Yang looked at Liu Shui's expression with a bit of heartache, and gently lifted the messy hair from her forehead. Years of abuse had ingrained fear into her bones. No matter how gentle Su Yang's tone was, the fear in Liu Shui's eyes seemed to always linger. But the expressions of joy are always increasing. Liu Shui's gentle and well-behaved appearance is really heartbreaking. And her intentional or unintentional flattering tone made him unable to help but secretly curse himself. Honey, what kind of wine do you want to drink? I'll go to the small supermarket downstairs to get it for you later. No drinking today. Su Yang shook his head and didn't want to drink any alcohol now. Even thinking about it makes me want to vomit. Hubby, I love it when you call me wife, I'm so happy. Liu Shui smiled ingratiatingly, and a hint of mist seemed to appear in her beautiful eyes again. Until now, he has not lost his temper or cursed anyone. I didn't even hit her. When they returned home, Liu Shui hurried to the kitchen to clean up. She was worried and excited. Days of harmony like this seemed to be few and far between over the years. I hope there will be more days like this. Wife, don't you have anything else to wear? Su Yang's meaning was very simple, he just wanted to ask Liu Shui if she had new clothes to wear. He thought about taking her to buy some new clothes in the afternoon and also buying some for his daughter. Some husband, if you want to see what I'm wearing, I'll change into it right away. Liu Shui quickly stopped what she was doing, washed her hands, and ran over. Don't wear the skirt. Change into something more comfortable, honey. Don't be nervous. Just relax, okay? Su Yang looked at Liu Shui, who was nervous and a little uneasy, and hugged her with heartache. Hubby, today, can you hit me a little more gently? I won't hit you today, and I won't hit you again in the future, okay? Su Yang patted Liu Shui's back helplessly and distressedly, feeling mixed emotions. Good. There was a hint of doubt in Liu Shui's flickering eyes. There is joy in the doubt. Honey, I'm going to change my clothes now. Liu Shui said this and hurriedly walked into the master bedroom. He quickly opened the cabinet door and took out the big cardboard box. 10 minutes later, Liu Shui came out. Husband. Su Yang raised his eyes and was stunned instantly. Liu Shui was actually wearing a very short skirt and black stockings on her straight long legs. There is also a cute little bunny headdress on the head. It's so cute and beautiful. Su Yang stood there in a daze, not knowing what to say for a moment. This was the first time he saw a beautiful mature woman wearing such special clothes. Honey, I'm going to cook. Liu Shui looked at Su Yang's expression and her face blushed. Then he quickly lowered his head and walked out of the kitchen to continue his work. Su Yang shook his dizzy head and rubbed his eyes. This wife. It's simply amazing. It's simply the best of the best. I just asked you to wear casual clothes, not this special style. Oh wow. It's simply unbearable. Really. By the way, I'm going to fix the wardrobe, the door is broken. Su Yang picked up the hinges, nails and other things he had bought from the dining table and quickly slipped into the bedroom. Harmful. I really didn't know how lucky I was before, to have such a wonderful wife. The cabinet door looked like it had been broken for a long time, and there was transparent tape on it to prevent it from falling off. Knock, knock, knock. It is very simple to repair this thing. The cabinet door was repaired in a short while. Turning my head. Then he saw the big cardboard box that Liu Shui had picked out for clothes placed on the big bed. It was filled with odds and ends. Wisps of. At first glance, many people can't tell what they are. Honey, the braised fish is already on the stove. At some point, Liu Shui quietly walked into the bedroom. Well, okay, keep the other one for Lele. I think she is a little thin. Su Yang turned around and put his arm around Liu Shui's shoulders. The weather is still a bit cold now, and what she is wearing is indeed too thin. Okay, hubby. Then I'll let Lele go home for dinner tonight. Anyway, it's only a 5-minute walk away. Well, let the child come back. Don't let her live in the school dormitory anymore. She won't be able to eat or live well. Su Lele is her daughter, there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. Although Su Yang has no memory of the past years, the affection in his heart cannot be deceived. Seeing his daughter's disgust towards him, his heart ached. Liu Shui was silent, not knowing whether she should agree to Su Yang. After all, children are her greatest hope. She didn't want her child to get hurt in any way. Even if Su Yang beat her to death, she would be willing. It's okay. Let her come back to eat fish in the evening. We can talk about other things later. Seeing Liu Shui's expression, Su Yang couldn't help but feel guilty. He knew that no matter what he said now, Liu Shui would not believe it. After all, she had been hurt so much before. Well, okay, thank you husband, do you like my outfit? I like it very much, but you should wear a coat outside, it's still a little chilly now. No, no need, as long as my husband likes it, I'll go check on the fish. From Liu Shui's tone, Su Yang could sense that she was indeed a little cold, and even shivering. Harmful. This wife. What a frightened good woman. Chapter 9, she was really uncomfortable with the way he treated her. Su Yang suppressed his heartache and found a red coat in the closet. It seems to have been worn for many years. Harmful. I can't find a single new piece of clothing in the closet. The dark pink dress I wore before is relatively new. But it has also been washed to a white color. Come here, my wife, let me put some clothes on you. Su Yang came to the kitchen, pulled Liu Shui over without saying anything, and put a coat on her. Then he held her tightly in his arms. You can be beautiful, but you can't let it freeze you. In order to please Su Yang, Liu Shui would rather shiver in the cold than wear anything thicker. For a long time. Thank you, husband, I'm so happy. Honey, I'll take you to the mall this afternoon to buy some new clothes, and also buy some for our daughter. I saw her shoes were full of holes this morning. Su Yang hugged Liu Shui tightly, his voice soft and gentle. There is no longer the arrogance and impatience of the past. No. I don't want my husband anymore. My daughter will take the high school entrance exam in 2 months. If she doesn't pass the exam, she will have to pay a lot more money. Or, just buy a pair of shoes for my daughter, she has wanted it for a long time. Liu Shui snuggled obediently in Su Yang's arms, not daring to move. But after hearing his words, the joy in her eyes suddenly increased even more. The look of fear and worry seemed to disappear a little bit. Just listen to me. My wife is so beautiful, she must wear beautiful clothes. My daughter, too, must be dressed beautifully. Good. Liu Shui did not refuse anymore, but just stretched out her hand and started wiping her tears. The tears in those beautiful eyes were dropping like beads that had broken off the string. Honey, the fish is ready. Okay, let's eat. Su Yang let go of Liu Shui, who was hugging him tightly, and prepared to help her serve the freshly steamed rice. Hubby, just wait, let me do it. When Liu Shui saw Su Yang reaching out to serve the rice, her heart skipped a beat. More than 10 years. Is this the first time he has offered to help serve the rice? What happened to him today? Why is he acting so good? Is he going to do something new? Or will he give me a good beating this time? Su Yang didn't say anything, nor did he stop. He quietly picked up 2 bowls, filled them with rice, and took them out. He knows. There is no point in saying anything now, I can only do more things silently. Slowly, bit by bit, changing the impression of myself in her mind. After all, over the past 10 years, he has been beaten and scolded too many times. Beating and scolding at any time and anywhere. Fight when you are happy, and fight when you are unhappy. Not only the back, but there seem to be some scars on other parts of the body. Just now, through the thin black stockings, I could see a long and thin scar on the thigh. Although the area is not large, it is very long. It even somewhat destroys the beauty of the long legs. Liu Shui quickly served the stewed fish and brought it to the table. Hubby, let's eat. Liu Shui picked up the chopsticks and picked up a big piece of fish for Su Yang. I just used a small spoon to scoop a little of the stewed fish soup and poured it into the bowl of rice. Su Yang looked at Liu Shui's cautious look and couldn't help but feel distressed again. Harmful. I really ruined such a good woman. Not only is she beautiful, she also has a great figure. And very docile and well behaved. How could I treat such a good woman like that? No wonder the kids hate me so much. Wife, come and eat. Su Yang reached out and picked up a large piece for Liu Shui and put it in her bowl. It even has a hint of compulsion. If Su Yang hadn't said it, Liu Shui would definitely not dare to eat a piece of fish from beginning to end. Husband. What happened to you today? Why don't you just beat me up? I'm always so scared when you do this. Liu Shui looked at the fish in the bowl and quickly put down her chopsticks, not daring to eat it at all. The look in his eyes, which had been calm before, seemed to be filled with fear again. Su Yang couldn't help feeling helpless. He was just picking up a piece of fish for his wife, why did she get so scared? Eat first, I'll call you after you finish. Don't worry, I'm in a good mood today. Su Yang pondered for a moment and could only frown slightly. There's no way. I can't be too nice to her right now, otherwise, she really won't be able to adapt. Oh, okay hubby. Liu Shui seemed relieved, picked up the bowl and started eating. But when eating fish, you also eat it in small bites. Eat more. Su Yang picked up another piece for her with a stern face. Come here and sit next to me. Looking at the timid Liu Shui, Su Yang felt really pained in his heart. But in order to let her eat more with peace of mind, he had to deliberately put on a stern face and speak a little more harshly. Oh, okay hubby. As Liu Shui spoke, a flattering smile appeared on her face. She quickly took the bowl and sat on the chair next to Su Yang. Seeing that Su Yang seemed to have recovered some normality, Liu Shui felt more at ease while eating. Su Yang picked up most of the fish for her and asked her to eat it all. If you don't eat, Su Yang will glare at you. I finished a bowl of rice and most of the fish. Under Su Yang's intimidation, I almost ate too much for the first time. That's more like it. Su Yang nodded slightly and finished his meal. The fish was shared by 2 people, and Liu Shui ate most of it. But after eating, Liu Shui's eyes slowly turned red. Su Yang kept picking up fish for her and glaring at her, but it seemed like he just wanted her to eat more. During the whole process, except for touching her face, he didn't hit her at all. Not even the lightest slap. Leave the dishes there, we'll clean them up when we get back. Seeing Liu Shui busy cleaning up the dishes, Su Yang couldn't help but reach out and pull her away. He pulled her directly into the bedroom. Liu Shui knows. He might start to torture himself. I don't know whether it was a whip, a slap, a knife, or a cigarette butt. No matter what, she has to bear it. Wife, take a break and tell me about our daughter's study. Su Yang said this, turned around, opened the closet door, and took out his pajamas. As for Liu Shui, she doesn't need to change her pajamas. Her super short dress is more interesting than those tattered pajamas. Oh, well. Liu Shui nodded quickly with some fear, took off her coat, and climbed onto the bed. I don't know if he really wants to know about his daughter's academic performance or if he is just saying it jokingly. No matter what, you must be mentally prepared for this beating. Chapter 10. Don't blame the child, she is still young and ignorant. Come over. Su Yang looked at Liu Shui, whose eyes were filled with fear, and felt both distressed and guilty. He lay at the head of the bed, covered with a quilt, and waved to Liu Shui. Husband. Liu Shui sat next to Su Yang, put her legs into the quilt, and gently leaned her head on his shoulder. Gently, the body is hanging. Why? Su Yang couldn't help but sigh secretly and held her in his arms. Forehead. Liu Shui was so nervous that she couldn't help but let out a light cry, and her body tensed up. A moment later. Su Yang did not hit her or torment her. Wife, tell me about Lele. I really didn't pay enough attention to my child before. Okay, husband. Liu Shui calmed down her nervousness and took a deep breath. Everything is ready just now. But he didn't do anything. Lila was a good student when he was young, but his grades started to decline after he entered junior high school. Husband, the child has her own difficulties, please don't blame her, okay? What's the reason? Su Yang nodded and gently kneaded Liu Shui's small hand. Hubby, Liu Shui hesitated to speak, as if she didn't dare to say anything. Go ahead and say it. I've told you before that I won't hit you today. No matter what you say, I won't hit you. Su Yang put his arms around Liu Shui's slender waist and spoke in a faint voice. Neither too gentle nor too cold. Good. The child has grown up and gradually become sensible. She sees you beat me all day long, and she feels very sad. This matter is a big knot in her heart. Although she lives in the school, she is worried about me every day. Even when I was in class, I would keep worrying. As Liu Shui spoke, she turned her head slightly to look at Su Yang's eyes. Forehead. Su Yang listened and couldn't help but narrow his eyes slightly. Is this really me? How could he become such a beast? In 2 months, my child will take the high school entrance exam, and I am really worried about her. If she fails to get into number 1 high school, it will be very difficult for her to get into a good university in the future. Even if I can get into the second place list of number 1 middle school, it will be fine. I would rather kneel down and kowtow to you 100 times, but I have to collect enough money for my child's tuition. Oh. Su Yang listened and nodded slightly. Such a good child was harmed by him. My child is actually studying very hard now, but he tends to be distracted, and I am always worried about him. Hubby, look. Liu Shui reached out for her cell phone and opened WeChat. This is the voice message my child sent me using his watch while he was having dinner. Having said that, Liu Shui clicked on the voice message. Mom, what did you eat at noon? Did the bad guy leave? Did he beat you today? Listening to his daughter's clear yet hateful voice, Su Yang couldn't help but feel a heart-wrenching pain. Very true. Mom, please divorce him as soon as possible. I support you in finding me a new father. I really don't want to see him for a moment. The several voice messages sent by the children have been played. Su Yang was stunned. Not moving, not speaking, completely silent. Liu Shui leaned in her arms, unable to stop trembling with fear. This was the first time she let him hear the message from her daughter. She didn't know what will be waiting for her next. But she still hoped that he, as a father, could listen to her a little. Hubby, don't be angry. I will never divorce you in this life, don't worry. Don't blame the child, she is still young and ignorant. Why? Su Yang couldn't help but sigh secretly. Apart from calling myself a beast, I really can't think of a more appropriate word. Time passes by every second. Liu Shui's heart was always hanging. The two chatted about the child for more than an hour. Soon. The time came to 2 o'clock in the afternoon. The two of them just sat and chatted, and didn't accomplish anything else. Su Yang had some ideas at first, but when he saw Liu Shui's horrified expression and the child's hatred, his animal instincts soon disappeared without a trace. Wife. Hubby, you've been calling me wife all day long. Shouldn't it? I guess, you haven't called me wife like this for many years. What did I call you before? Su Yang couldn't help but feel curious, so he couldn't help but ask. He knew that there was a note on WeChat called Xiao S Silly, but he didn't know if this was the name. You call me a chick, a slut, a bitch, husband, don't you know everything? It's okay. You can call me anything, I don't mind. Su Yang couldn't help but exclaimed again. What a talented person. Such a good woman, how could you call her such a vicious name? What if I call you sister? Of course. I think this title is also good, but I am 1 year younger than you. Forehead. Forget it, I'll just call you my wife from now on. Ding dong. The two were chatting when Su Yang's phone suddenly rang, and it seemed that there was a WeChat message. Su Yang clicked it directly in front of Liu Shui. Oh, it's from Lorraine. Of course he remembered the great beauty. Well, you watch it, I won't watch it. Liu Shui said this and turned her head away. It's okay, honey. Let's take a look together. Let me see what message the woman who almost killed me sent me. After hearing Su Yang's words, Liu Shui hesitated. He had never let her see Lorraine's messages, and even taking his phone might get her beaten. Let us watch it together. Su Yang reached out and pulled Liu Shui's head over, using a little force in his hands. Oh. There's no other way. Since you asked to watch it together, let's watch it together. Baby, why haven't you given me the money yet? I'm going to buy that bag this afternoon. When Liu Shui saw the news, she couldn't help feeling depressed. Luo Lin, this vixen, is still seducing and deceiving Liu Shui's man. Chapter 11, Scold her harshly. Come on, honey, help me reply to her message. Judging from the hatred in Liu Shui's eyes, it seems that these two best friends had broken up a long time ago. Looking at the phone Su Yang handed over, Liu Shui couldn't help but feel a little panicked. This Luo Lin has always been his Achilles heel. You can't talk or scold him, and even if you want to give some suggestions, you have to consider his facial expression. How can he ask me to reply to Luo Lin's message now? What's wrong, wife? It's nothing, just scold her. Su Yang was also full of hatred when he saw the news about Luo Lin. He stuffed the phone directly into Liu Shui's hand. For a moment, Liu Shui was stunned. The phone in my hand also seems extremely hot. What? You scolded her just because I asked you to. She almost killed your husband. Don't you hate her? Hate her? Well, that's right. Then scold her nicely. Let's satisfy our urge to talk first. Su Yang leaned against Liu Shui's back, put his arms around her waist, and sniffed the faint fragrance of her hair. But Liu Shui felt very uncomfortable. She really didn't know how to respond, nor did she know if Su Yang was sincere. Look through the previous records. Oh. Liu Shui responded and began to scroll through the chat history. But she didn't dare to flip forward and only looked at a few records of Su Yang and Luo Lin this morning. Honey, does your stomach still hurt? Why didn't you tell me? I'll go buy you some medicine right now. As Liu Shui spoke, she struggled to get out of bed. I didn't have a stomachache. I was just fooling her. Husband, she doesn't care about you at all. If she really cared about you, your wife wouldn't say anything. Liu Shui looked at Su Yang's expression and said weakly. In view of the previous lessons, she still didn't dare to talk about Lorraine. She cares about me. He. Su Yang couldn't help but sneer. Damn, I feel so sick when I think of this woman. This is such a piece of crap. Since you know she doesn't care about you, why are you still calling her baby? There was a hint of resentment in Liu Shui's voice. I was just testing to see if she cared about me. Su Yang smiled awkwardly. He hugged Liu Shui tightly in his arms. The woman in my arms is the one I should love and cherish. She is my baby. Hubby, she really never cared about you. After I sent you to the hospital 15 years ago, she never visited you once. Really, husband, she is not worthy of your love at all. Well, wife, you are right, come on, scold her. Liu Shui held the phone and turned to look at Su Yang's expression. Then should I reply to her? Don't hesitate, go back. Oh, okay, husband, if I say something bad, don't hit me. I already said I won't hit you today. Hurry back, I'll take you out to buy clothes later. Su Yang turned sideways and watched Liu Shui start typing. My husband has a severe stomachache and has just taken some medicine and is already asleep. Luo Lin, I advise you not to be so shameless, okay? Why do you always cheat my husband of his money? After writing a sentence, Liu Shui looked at Su Yang worriedly. Okay, honey, you're awesome. Send it over. Su Yang gave Liu Shui a thumbs up. Then I sent it. Here. Liu Shui pressed the send button and sent the message she had just edited. A moment later, Luo Lin's message came back. Liu Shui. Har har, just wait for your husband to kill you. How dare you say such things to me? When did I lie to your husband? We are in love, okay? What's wrong with him spending money on me? You have the guts to make him spend money on you, too, you slut. Liu Shui's expression changed again and again as she read Luo Lin's message. Hubby, look at her. It's okay, wife, you scold her too. Good. Liu Shui was afraid of Su Yang, but she was not afraid of Luo Lin. Since it was her husband who asked her to curse back, why should she be polite? Scold her. After so many years, I finally have a chance to vent. You are a slut. You have had at least 18 boyfriends. With so many people around you, you would have become a slut a long time ago. I have only dated Su Yang in my life. You are the real loser. You are a piece of shit that thousands of people ride on. Soon. Lorraine's message came back. Liu Shui, you wait for me. I will make Su Yang sell you out. No, I will make you receive customers every day, 20 customers a day. Anyway, Su Yang, you have to listen to me now. You have to start receiving customers tomorrow. Don't say I don't take care of you. I can help you find 20 migrant workers to take good care of your business. Su Yang was almost dumbfounded watching the two of them interacting with each other. Women can be so crazy when they quarrel. Luo Lin, just wait for me. Even if I die, I will never let my husband give you a penny. My husband's relocation compensation was swindled away by you, bitch. Return it to me now. I'm calling the police and have them arrest you. The two of them chatted back and forth and talked a lot in a short while. Husband. Liu Shui finally came to her senses and turned to look at Su Yang. Those beautiful eyes had turned red. Okay, honey, take a break. Su Yang took the phone from Liu Shui's hand and put it aside. Huff huff. Liu Shui stood there in a daze, unable to recover for a long time. Although she vented her anger, she was also furious. Wife. Su Yang put his arm around Liu Shui's shoulders and held her in his arms. Then patted her little hands gently. Maybe after all these years, she finally got to vent. I hope she can feel more at ease, right? Boo. Just a little taste of the red lips. Forehead. Liu Shui was awakened by this. Honey, I'm sorry. Don't you feel better if you don't feel sorry? Well, but husband, Luo Lin said that she wanted you to sell me to a migrant worker. I'm so scared, you won't really do that, will you? My wife is so beautiful, how could I bear to sell you to someone else? I love you so much. Oh. Come on, change your clothes, I'll take you shopping for new clothes. Su Yang reached out and patted Liu Shui's face, and used a commanding tone again. Chapter 12 I'm going to cut him up. Okay, I'll change right away. Hearing Su Yang's commanding tone, Liu Shui finally breathed a sigh of relief. It seems that he was not really angry even though she had just had an argument with Luo Lin. After a while, they both changed their clothes and left home together. Wife, please walk faster. Why do you always walk behind me? Su Yang felt very strange that when he walked with Liu Shui, she would always fall behind him. It seemed as if she was a little afraid to walk side by side with him. Su Yang, what are you taking your wife to do? Su Yang looked up and saw the familiar person again. None of your business. Fuck, I'm doing this for your own good, you know. The whole neighborhood knows that you beat your wife every day. Have you thought it through? I've got the money ready. This is a sleazy man in his 40s. A pair of eyes kept looking Liu Shui up and down, with a strange look in their eyes. Prepare for your paralysis. Bang. Su Yang couldn't help but get furious. He kicked the man in the stomach, causing him to sit on the ground. Fuck, you dare to hit me. A few days ago, you discussed the price with me and said that as long as I could pay 100,000, you would consider selling her to me. I've collected enough money. Come on, hand over the money and the person. After hearing what the other party said, Su Yang couldn't help but be stunned. Have I really considered selling my wife? Is this crazy? I'll give you paralysis. When did I say I wanted to sell my wife? Bang! Su Yang went up and kicked again, directly kicking the opponent in the stomach. In an instant, the opponent became a hunched shrimp. Husband, stop hitting me, if you keep hitting me, someone will die. Liu Shui was so scared that she quickly stepped forward and hugged Su Yang's arm, holding him tightly. If he kicks it a couple more times, something serious might happen. When he gets angry and attacks, he doesn't consider the severity of the situation at all. She had experienced it herself before. Liu Shui felt scared just thinking about it. Humph! If my wife hadn't stopped me, I would have fucking killed you. If you do it again, I'll cut you into pieces. Seeing that the other party was too scared to say anything, Su Yang did not attack again. Let's go buy some clothes. Su Yang pulled Liu Shui to his side, put his arm around her shoulders and walked out. Liu Shui was so scared that she didn't dare to say anything. She just moved her long legs and followed Su Yang's steps. What the hell? I'm so pissed. How dare a bastard like this dare to hit on my wife? Su Yang walked while cursing angrily. What that person said just now really pissed him off. Now, in Su Yang's eyes, Liu Shui is the person he needs to protect the most and the person he needs to care for the most. You are the only one who wants to buy my wife. I can't kill you. Okay, husband, don't be angry. After staying for a while, Liu Shui saw that Su Yang's mood had calmed down, so she gave him some weak advice. Wife, has this Sharby ever harassed you before? He said some unpleasant things, but he didn't hit anyone. What did he say? Nothing. Liu Shui was hugged by Su Yang on the shoulders and she walked a little unsteadily. I didn't even dare to answer his question. That old bachelor has always been eyeing her. I often follow her quietly, and no one knows what I am doing. And also say some dirty words. Explain. Oh, okay. Liu Shui was startled when she heard Su Yang's order and had to tell the truth. He said I was pretty and often stayed alone in an empty room, and asked me if I was particularly lonely. He said he could. Fuck. When Su Yang heard this, his anger instantly flared up again. After saying that, he turned around and walked towards the community. I'm going to cut him. Hubby. No. If you really cut it off for him, you will definitely go to jail. Wuwu, how can you protect me or beat me then? Wuwu, please, husband, he didn't hit me, don't be impulsive, okay. Liu Shui was frightened and hugged Su Yang's waist tightly. While dragging herself backwards, she kept crying. Su Yang looked at Liu Shui's sad, crying face, and his heart softened instantly. Forget it. Let us spare that old guy first. Come on, honey, let's go shopping for clothes. Su Yang stopped and his tone softened. He reached out and grabbed Liu Shui's arm, then walked out. Honey, why don't you drive? Car? Su Yang suddenly remembered that there seemed to be a BYD car key thrown on the bedside table. But he didn't take it seriously. Oh, let's not drive, let's take the bus. I want to walk more with you. Su Yang changed his mind and immediately found a plausible reason. Good. Liu Shui didn't ask any more questions, but just followed Su Yang and walked forward. By the way, where do you want to buy it? I'll go with you. After Su Yang left the community, he was not familiar with the supermarkets and shopping malls outside. Liu Shui must lead the way. Well, let's go to Sports Street first. There are a lot of shoes for sale there. Let's buy a pair of shoes for Lele first. When Liu Shui saw that Su Yang really wanted to take her shopping, she couldn't help but feel happy. She didn't even think twice about the old bachelor's suggestion of buying and selling her. Okay, I'll listen to you. But you must buy Lele a pair of better shoes. We have money. It doesn't have to be very good. I've seen it before, and it costs more than 260 yuan. No, buy something better. Su Yang shook his head and directly rejected what Liu Shui said. Oh. Liu Shui looked at Su Yang's eyes and didn't dare to argue with him. Since he said he wanted to buy it, let's find a better one later. My daughter should have gotten a new pair of shoes a long time ago, the pair she has now has holes in them. Honey, let's take a look at Li Ning's first. Okay. No matter which store Liu Shui goes to, she has to ask Su Yang's opinion first. But Su Yang didn't refuse at all. He said, I'll go wherever you say to go. The two of them visited many stores, including Nike, Auntie, etc., and finally chose a pair. It happens to be my daughter's favorite style as well. The price is 866 yuan. Although Su Yang paid the bill, Liu Shui still felt a little painful. Holding the shoes in hand, Liu Shui felt like she was dreaming. How many years have passed? He is finally willing to spend money on his wife and children. Before she knew it, clear tears had already flowed from Liu Shui's eyes. Chapter 13, A Dream Come True. Why are you crying? You are such a loser. Looking at Liu Shui's appearance, Su Yang couldn't help but feel distressed. However, he immediately said something criticizing her. At this moment, I can't say too many gentle words, nor can I say any love words. Otherwise, she would definitely think too much. Okay, husband, I won't cry anymore, thank you, husband. Let's go, I'll buy you 2 pieces of clothing. Hubby, why don't you just forget it? I can still wear this skirt for another 2 years. When Liu Shui heard that someone wanted to buy something for her, she couldn't help but hesitate. That pair of shoes alone cost at least 1,000 yuan. If Lele gets admitted to number 1 middle school later, he will have to pay more than 30,000 yuan. You better stop buying me clothes. If he is unhappy, the children's tuition will be gone. If Su Yang doesn't pay for the child's tuition, do you really want me to sell myself to raise money? No, this skirt is too old. I have to buy a new one if I lose it. Su Yang didn't say anything and pulled Liu Shui forward. There are also many women's clothing stores on this street, as Su Yang had just discovered. Hubby, there's still Lele's tuition. Liu Shui had no choice but to muster up the courage to explain it again. I have already prepared the tuition fees, don't worry. Go. If you dare not buy it, I will beat you when I get back. You are not ashamed, but I am. Looking at Liu Shui's conflicted expression, Su Yang had no choice but to deliberately say a few harsh words. Okay, then listen to your husband. When Liu Shui heard this, she stopped worrying about it. Since my husband is willing to buy it for me, I'll buy it. How did he change so much? For many years, he basically didn't spend a penny on his wife and children. Why has he changed his nature now? Did he dig a hole somewhere, waiting for me to jump into it? But looking at his current state, if I don't obey, he might beat me again. Forget it, let us just listen to him. So many years have passed, and all I want is to be beaten by him again and tormented by him again. Let him play however he wants. As long as you don't sell me to someone else. Honey, I think this dress is okay. No. This set of clothes only costs 98 yuan. Are you trying to embarrass me? I'm telling you, don't let me see anything that costs less than 1,000 yuan. Forehead. Liu Shui was stunned when she heard what Su Yang said. She has never worn such expensive clothes in her life. Even when buying down jackets for the winter, I buy old models at a special price. The total cost of everything in my body, inside and out, would not exceed 300 yuan. Now he actually wants to buy one that costs more than 1,000 yuan. This is too luxurious. Okay, honey, don't just stand there, go buy it quickly, Lele will be out of school soon. Oh, okay, hubby. Liu Shui did not dare to hesitate and had to bite the bullet and look at the more expensive clothes. Not long after, Liu Shui then picked out her clothes. You know what, this woman has very, very good taste. In the past, poverty limited choices. Su Yang looked at Liu Shui, who had changed her clothes, and was shocked again. This big sister is so beautiful. You used to be so pretty and attractive when you wore old clothes. Now that you put on appropriate new clothes, you immediately look prettier and more elegant. As for Liu Shui's current beauty, she is miles ahead of Luo Lin in the past. Okay, just buy this set, and get 2 more sets in different colors, pack it up. This dress is indeed suitable. Su Yang looked at the beautiful Liu Shui and his heart was filled with excitement. I really want to take her home right now and be sweet with her. Our husband, just buy 1 set. 3 sets. Under Su Yang's threat, Liu Shui had to choose 3 sets of clothes of different colors. We packed up and paid for it, and it cost more than 10,000 yuan. Liu Shui felt heartbroken. But when looking at the clothes in his hands, he felt inexplicably excited. Let's go to the lingerie store. Su Yang turned around and winked at Liu Shui. Liu Shui immediately understood what he meant. He loved to have her wear special lingerie, all kinds of lingerie. Anyway, he is very good at this. If you don't cooperate, you will definitely be beaten. The big cardboard boxes at home were filled with all kinds of underwear and even other things that were too embarrassing to export. Liu Shui did not refuse and followed Su Yang into the lingerie store obediently. After some communication and selection, Su Yang spent more than 2,000 yuan again. Later, he took Liu Shui to buy a few pairs of shoes, headwear and other things. After buying everything, Liu Shui and Su Yang's hands were already filled with bags of different sizes. "Hubby, let's go back. We've bought everything we need." Liu Shui looked at Su Yang's face, and still didn't look angry at all. "Well, okay, let's go back." "Wait. There's a bag seller over there, come on, I'll pick out a bag for you and then we'll leave." Liu Shui no longer dared to refuse. As long as Su Yang said he would buy it for her, she would just go over and choose it. Otherwise, she would definitely be scolded and threatened that she would be severely punished at night. There was no choice, Liu Shui had to choose one by one. Although she was under Su Yang's tyranny, her heart was becoming happier and happier. After some intense inner struggle selection, Liu Shui finally chose a bag worth 8,000 yuan. When she saw Su Yang paying the bill, she felt like she was about to collapse. In her life, she had never thought that she would use such an expensive bag. But the bag was already on her shoulder. The total amount is 8,000 yuan. Just a rough calculation. I spent more than 30,000 yuan just on buying things for Liu Shui today. This gave her an extremely unreal feeling. This was the scene she had experienced in her dream. Unexpectedly, it is happening right before my eyes. So she felt that this seemed unreal, as if she was in a dream. The man who never cared about his family, today happily bought her things worth more than 30,000 yuan. In the dream. In addition to buying her various gifts, her husband also loves her tenderly, making her deeply addicted. But every time I wake up, only to find out that it was just a beautiful dream. The only thing left. It was the tear marks she left on the pillow. Chapter 14. You just need to be obedient. Now, I have finally bought almost everything. Carrying bags of varying sizes, the two got in a taxi and went home. "Honey, the kid just got out of school. I'll call her and ask her to come back to stay with me tonight." "Well, go ahead." Looking at Liu Shui's cautious yet excited look, Su Yang couldn't help but laugh to himself. In any case, Liu Shui's mood is different from before. Liu Shui went to the child's room to make a phone call. Mainly out of habit, she had never dared to make a phone call in front of Su Yang. The main reason was that she was afraid that the children would hear her being bullied. Otherwise, children will have even less interest in learning. "Lulu, come back to stay at night. Mommy stewed fish for you tonight and bought you new shoes." Su Yang was sitting in the living room and heard the sound coming from the child's little room. "Mom, you really bought me new shoes. That's great. Are they the 260 pair you liked before?" "It's not that pair. Dad and Mom bought you a pair of 866 ones. It's your favorite style." "It's that bad guy again. Mom, why did you drag him along to buy shoes? Be good, listen to what Mom tells you." Su Yang listened carefully outside. Liu Shui briefly described to her daughter the entire process of Su Yang accompanying her shopping in the afternoon. As he spoke, he was smiling happily. "Mom, you are not talking in your sleep, are you? I don't believe it. I would never believe that he would buy you something worth more than 30,000 yuan. Silly girl, how could your mother lie to you? Come back after school and see if the shoes fit you. Okay? Hubby, you take a rest for a while. I'm going to cook fish for the child. She has one more class before she comes back from school." After Liu Shui finished the call, she ran back excitedly. Although she spoke to Su Yang very cautiously, there was obvious unstoppable joy in her eyes. "Tonight, will you wear your new clothes for me to see?" Okay." After hearing Su Yang's request, Liu Shui quickly nodded. But in the past, every time Su Yang saw her wearing strange clothes, he would be particularly dishonest. But that was also the time when he hit people the lightest. "If I keep silent, my daughter won't be able to hear me even if she's next door. This kind of thing is the easiest for her to accept. Anyway, he hasn't hit her once since he came back this time." After answering, Liu Shui hurried to the kitchen to stew fish. Although she knew that Su Yang would make trouble at night, her mood today was obviously different from before. This time, he took her to buy more than 30,000 yuan worth of things without even blinking an eye. It's like a dream. Really happy. Su Yang originally planned to go to the kitchen with Liu Shui to help, but after thinking about it, he gave up. Everything has to be done step by step. Even if I want to compensate her, I can't do it all at once. Take your time. When it is time to scold, you should show some respect and don't be too gentle all the time. When it's time to hit someone, you should also be a little more considerate and control the strength so that it doesn't hurt. Just like buying clothes today, if I didn't yell at her a couple of times, she really wouldn't be willing to spend the money. Such a good woman must be treated well. Let her gradually feel my changes. Ding dong. Just as Su Yang was staring at Liu Shui busy in the kitchen, thinking about how to deal with her, a WeChat message came on his phone. Baby, is your stomach ache gone? Hee hee. Su Yang couldn't help but sneer to himself. You idiot Luo Lin. You are still pretending to be hypocritical with my husband. My husband is tossing and turning in pain, and you don't even look at him. How can you still have the nerve to call him baby? Su Yang imitated Liu Shui's tone and scolded Luo Lin. Why are you still holding his phone? Give it to him right away, I need to talk to him about something. My husband is asleep, I don't have time. Liu Shui, you wait for me. When Su Yang gets better, I will make her sell you out. I will let you entertain customers every day. Just wait and see if you don't believe me. Go away, you stinking bitch. Su Yang had a good fight with Luo Lin, and then began to think about how to deal with Luo Lin. This woman is so nasty. She must be made to suffer. Honey, the meal is ready. Are you hungry now? After Liu Shui finished cooking, she came to Su Yang with a flattering smile on her face. Although it is a flattering move, the mood is definitely different from before. As far as she could remember, it seemed like she hadn't been this happy in many years. I really feel so relaxed and comfortable. Come and sit. Su Yang couldn't help but waved his hand, motioning Liu Shui to sit next to him. Such a lovely young lady. Su Yang really wanted to get close to her. In fact, he knew very well that although he and she had been an old couple for more than 10 years, Su Yang had no memory of the past. And his current mental age is actually only 21. In his heart, Liu Shui is a real big sister and a beautiful young woman. And it's a brand new feeling. Husband. Liu Shui looked at Su Yang, her eyes flickering a few times, and then she sat down obediently. I'm not very hungry yet. Let's eat together with the children. As he spoke, Su Yang held Liu Shui in his arms. Okay, husband. After we have dinner and put the kids to bed, I will change into new clothes for you to see, okay? Liu Shui snuggled gently in Su Yang's arms and whispered weakly. She was actually worried. I'm worried that Su Yang might suddenly be unable to control himself and torture people. It would be troublesome if the children saw it. Well, no problem, you just have to be obedient. Su Yang said with a deliberately stern face. Yes, I will listen to my husband. That's better. You have to wear the clothes I bought for you every day from now on. If you dare to wear those tattered clothes again, I might beat you up, remember? Okay hubby, I'll remember that. Liu Shui nodded obediently and snuggled in Su Yang's arms, not daring to move. Knock, knock, knock. As they were talking, there was a knock on the door. My daughter is here, husband. If the child is disobedient, you must not be like the child, okay? Later, I will be very obedient. Liu Shui was startled and quickly leaned over to Su Yang's ear, begging quickly. Okay, got it, go open the door. Yeah, okay, okay. Chapter 15. It's all his fault, so don't blame your daughter. After Su Lei entered the room, she saw Su Yang sitting at the dining table. But she didn't greet him. Didn't even look at him a second time. Su Yang turned his head and looked at his daughter, but he was not angry. It's all his fault anyway, so it's not his daughter's fault. Mom, your new pajamas look great. When he saw Liu Shui, a smile finally appeared on Su Lei's face. Well, there are yours too. Come on, be good, come and try on your new shoes. Liu Shui took the child and walked towards her bedroom with a happy smile on her face. Mom, did you really buy me such expensive shoes? Su Lei picked up the new shoes and a happy smile appeared on her face. Soon, she put on her new shoes and walked around the house. These shoes are really nice and comfortable. Lele, these shoes were bought for you by your father. I don't believe it. Su Lele couldn't help but curl her lips and snorted. Silly girl, this pair of shoes costs nearly 1,000 yuan. How can your mother afford to buy them for you? Who knows what's wrong with him? I just know that my mother bought it for me. Su Lele shook her head and refused to admit that it was her father who bought the shoes for her. Come and see the clothes your father bought for your mother. Liu Shui smiled and pulled the child to the master bedroom again, where she opened the closet where new clothes were kept. This. Su Lele looked at the brand and price tag. Each piece is so expensive. Mom, did that man really buy it for you? Silly child, he is your father. He indeed bought all these for me today. Liu Shui said this with a happy smile on her face. Is he going insane? Silly child, what are you talking about? Your father actually still cares about me, it's just that he has a bad temper. I don't believe it. If he cares about you, why does he beat you every day? Su Lele shook her head and still didn't believe what her mother said. She knew that her mother would always say good things about her father, and no matter how hard he beat her, she would speak well of him. Silly child, your father is different now. He knows how to love us mother and daughter, really. And it was Dad who bought you the fish today and asked me to call you back to eat it. Actually, Dad loves you very much. I don't recognize him anyway. Oh, you silly child. Liu Shui shook her head helplessly, then took the child out of the bedroom and prepared to eat. Hubby, let's eat fish. The family of three sat around the dining table. Liu Shui came up and picked up a large piece of fish for Su Yang first. I don't really feel like eating fish today. You and Lele can eat it. Su Yang glanced at Liu Shui and blinked quietly. Oh, Dad doesn't want to eat it, then give this piece to Lele. Look, our daughter has lost weight. Mom, you eat that piece. I can pick it up myself. Su Lele glanced at her mother and pushed her chopsticks over. Okay, then hurry up and eat, Lele. Mom and Dad don't like eating fish, so these are all yours. As Liu Shui spoke, she pushed all the plates in front of Su Lele. Su Lele turned his head to look at his mother without saying anything, then started eating fish. Honey, let's eat quickly. We've been walking around for so long this afternoon, my legs are sore, can we both rest early today? Liu Shui also wanted to let her child rest early, only in this way could she accompany Su Yang well. In the past, I often worked until midnight. Su Yang nodded lightly and responded softly. Then he looked up at his daughter. Su Lele eats very quickly. Soon, she had finished the whole plate of fish by herself. Maybe I rarely eat on a normal day, so my appetite seems particularly good. Mom, I have a math test to do. I'm going to study. Having said that, Su Lele left the dining table without even raising her head and walked towards her room. Well, go ahead, Lele. Liu Shui looked at Su Yang a little awkwardly, but the child still didn't say hello to Su Yang. She originally wanted to ease the relationship between them as father and daughter, but now it seems that it did not achieve the desired effect. Fine. Su Yang reached out and held Liu Shui's small hand, squeezed it, and shook his head slightly. Feeling his movement, Liu Shui thought that he wanted to make trouble now, and couldn't help but worry. Honey. Lele has to study today, so can you postpone my trying on new clothes? I'm afraid it will affect the baby. Feeling that Su Yang was not angry at all, Liu Shui became a little bolder. Well, just wait. Su Yang felt Liu Shui's gentleness and was in a good mood. He was also getting more and more excited. Thank you, husband. Not long. The two of them finished their meal. Liu Shui hurried to wash the pots and dishes. Su Yang went to clean up and wash up. He knows. When he is with Liu Shui, he will definitely not be able to help but make trouble. As a 21-year-old big boy, how could he resist the temptation of such an older sister? Liu Shui's various conditions and performances have all met his favorite standards nowadays. And I still feel sorry for her. After cleaning the kitchen, Liu Shui went to wash up, and she did it very carefully. This is a habit she has developed over time. Su Yang also helped her develop this habit. If she had any strange smell on her body, she would definitely be beaten. So I will make myself smell good. I spray perfume all over my body. Honey, I saw Lele was still doing homework just now. Can we stay a little longer? Fine. Su Yang held Liu Shui in his arms and chatted with her slowly. We mainly talk about children's studies and some jokes. Before I knew it, it was 10:30 at night. Hubby, I'm going to see the kids. Having said that, Liu Shui walked out of the bedroom and went to see the child. Liu Shui was actually a little anxious. She was worried that Su Yang would get angry. A moment later, Liu Shui is back again. Hubby, the child still has one last question that he can't answer. He has been thinking about it but has no clue. Well, take a picture of her paper and bring it over so I can take a look. Su Yang still has the memory of being 21 years old now, and he still has a good grasp of the knowledge he learned before. Not to mention Su Leilei's junior high school knowledge. Oh, okay, honey, I'll go take a picture. Chapter 16, even if you beat me harder, I'm willing to do it. Soon. Liu Shui went to her daughter's room again, took a picture of the last question, and then sent it to Su Yang via WeChat. Well, this question is not difficult. Su Yang took a look and immediately knew the solution to the problem. My husband is so amazing. I can't even tutor Leilei anymore. He has almost forgotten everything he learned before. Liu Shui sat next to Su Yang, looking at him ingratiatingly, her voice gentle and sweet. Perhaps it was Su Yang's good attitude towards her today that made her feel indescribably excited. Although I was still afraid of him, I couldn't help but feel happy and excited. Of course. Am I only good at solving math problems? Su Yang turned his head to look at Liu Shui and blinked. No. My husband is amazing in many ways. Liu Shui lowered her head with flickering eyes, and folded her hands uneasily. Oh, by the way, honey, why don't you explain it to Leilei? Actually, Leilei still likes Dad very much in her heart. Okay, I'll go take a look. Su Yang couldn't help but feel moved. I originally wanted to write down my solution and then let Liu Shui show it to the child. But if you explain it directly, it will definitely be a good opportunity to communicate with your children. Okay, husband. I'll go talk to the child first. Liu Shui's eyes lit up and she quickly jumped out of bed and walked towards her daughter's little room. Su Yang followed behind with his cell phone in hand. The door to my daughter's room was closed. Lulu, your father just looked at this question and said he wanted to explain it to you. No, I'll just ask the teacher tomorrow. My dear child, Daddy is really different now. He really loves Mommy now. You saw it. He bought Mommy more than 30,000 yuan worth of clothes. Moreover, he apologized to his mother. He said he would take good care of the family and would never hit his mother again. Liu Shui was beside her daughter, persuading her gently. She was really happy with Su Yang's performance today. She also hopes that her daughter can forgive her father a little. If a family lives together with love and affection, then there will be no regrets in death. And, is this true? Mom, I know he always beats you ever since I can remember. Do you really regret it now? Why don't I believe it? Su Leilei still couldn't believe what her mother said. Good girl, even if Mommy begs you, please let Daddy explain this question to you. Daddy just said that he has always liked you as his daughter. HMPH, isn't it a little too late? Okay? Su Leilei snorted lightly, but finally nodded in agreement. After all, Mom begged her. No matter how much she hated her father, she still listened to her mother. Okay, good boy, wait a moment. Seeing that her daughter agreed, Liu Shui happily opened the door of the child's room. Husband, come and explain the problem to our daughter. Good. Su Yang smiled and nodded, then walked into the house. Su Leilei stepped back and pushed the test paper forward. Didn't say anything. But her meaning was clear, go ahead and talk, I'm listening. However, Su Yang didn't care about his daughter's attitude. In fact, this is a big step forward. Leilei, let's take a closer look at the requirements of this question first. Su Yang stood beside his daughter, talking to her as he read the questions. Liu Shui stood obediently beside Su Yang, her eyes filled with happiness. How many years? This is the first time I've seen this scene. The father finally patiently helped his daughter with her homework. And the tone of his voice is so gentle. After a while. Leilei, is Dad's analysis correct? Yeah, yes. Su Leilei responded softly and then nodded. Okay, come on Leilei, Dad will tell you another way to solve the problem. Seeing that his daughter finally spoke to him, Su Yang couldn't help but reveal a happy smile on his face. Then, Su Yang began to patiently explain to his daughter another way to solve the problem. Liu Shui watched from the side and became more and more excited. It seems my husband has really changed. Later, when you let him see you wearing new clothes, you must be more serious. Thinking of this, Liu Shui's face gradually became hot. Lei, isn't this solution easier? Think about it. After Su Yang finished explaining his solution to the problem, he asked gently. Well, yes. Okay, Lei, do you have any questions? No more. Su Lei's response was very simple, without even a hint of emotion. Well, okay, then finish this question quickly and go to bed early. Su Yang looked at his daughter, his eyes filled with indescribable relief. The child finally talked to him. I feel so inexplicably happy. It is such a pleasant surprise that after this rebirth, I have such a beautiful eldest daughter. Lulu, why don't you thank your daddy quickly? Liu Shui patted her daughter's shoulder gently and reminded her. But Su Lei didn't reply, she just kept her head down and continued writing the questions. It's okay, let Lei do the questions. Su Yang pulled Liu Shui's arm, whispered something, and then pulled her away. Lulu, mom is going to rest. Go to bed as soon as you finish writing. Okay, got it mom, I'll take a break in 5 minutes. Su Lei answered her mother's questions very straightforwardly and was very well behaved. But he is still full of hostility towards his father Su Yang. Although I explained a problem today, it only slightly eased her hatred. This hatred mainly comes from his beating and scolding of his mother. It has never stopped for so many years. When Su Lei saw her mother's back, she burst into tears out of heartache. How could she like such a cruel father? Thank you, husband. Liu Shui was held tightly in Su Yang's arms, and she even felt a little breathless. But she is really happy. Today is really different. My husband seems to have really changed. As long as he is really good to us. Even if you beat me a little harder, I'm willing to do it. Just tomorrow. Will he still be home? Chapter 17. He seems to have changed today. Hubby, I'm going to see my daughter. As Su Yang hugged her tighter and tighter, Liu Shui looked towards the next door with some concern. Apparently, he is different today than usual. I wonder what he will do later. Oh, go ahead. Su Yang had no choice but to let go of Liu Shui, whom he was hugging tightly, and nodded slightly. It seems that Liu Shui has taken really good care of the child over the years. Even though she was beaten so badly in the past, she still tried her best to protect her daughter. What a rare good woman. After a while. Hubby, my daughter has fallen asleep. Liu Shui's voice was trembling a little, and it was unclear whether it was because of excitement or fear. Good. When Su Yang looked at Liu Shui's appearance, his heart couldn't stop beating fast. Finally, I will get my own woman. Why is this so awkward? In fact, they have been married for more than 10 years. Just a rebirth made Liu Shui a brand new existence in Su Yang's heart. Moreover, this existence is more mature, more beautiful and more tasteful than it was a decade ago. Honey, I'll let you wear this pink dress today. Liu Shui's voice was as gentle as honey. The pleasing taste is very rich. Moreover, every time he spoke, he would stare carefully into Su Yang's eyes. At this time, what she worried about most was that he would suddenly attack her and either bite or hit her. So scary. She had experienced this countless times before. Every time she tried her best to endure it, for fear that the children would hear it. Okay, change it. Su Yang leaned against the head of the bed, looking at Liu Shui with excitement and interest. This dress was just bought during the day and the tag on it has not been cut off yet. Honey, this pink one costs more than 500 yuan. Please don't tear it later, okay? I'm a little reluctant to part with it. Okay, got it. Su Yang suppressed his excitement and nodded lightly. Thank you, husband, you are so kind. Liu Shui smiled gently at Su Yang, then began to change her clothes. After a while, under Su Yang's slightly red eyes, Liu Shui changed into beautiful pink clothes. It's really beautiful. Except for the scars running across the back and the thin scar on the leg, everything else can be said to be perfect. Although she is already 35 years old, her figure has not changed at all. Although I have given birth to a child, the stretch marks I had before have long disappeared without a trace. What a beautiful figure. She has a curvy figure and is prettier than young girls. Husband. Liu Shue's voice was extremely sweet and gentle, but very low. There was a strong hint of flattery on his face. Over the past 10 years. As soon as Su Yang comes back, she will wear beautiful clothes for Su Yang to admire. He usually comes back every few days, and sometimes once every 10 days or half a month. The longest it will be is 1 month. I will definitely come back. As long as he comes back, Liu Shui must strictly follow his requirements. Food, drink, fun. Whether happy or not, I will definitely take action. It's just a matter of whether to do it gently or more vigorously. But today, he became particularly gentle, really different from the past. Chapter 18 is really satisfying. Honey, are you really satisfied? There was a hint of surprise in Liu Shue's eyes. Yes, I am really satisfied. Su Yang nodded a little doubtfully. With such a beautiful wife wearing such beautiful clothes, he didn't believe that any man would be dissatisfied. Oh. Su Yang couldn't help but sigh secretly. His wife was really suffering. Not only did I get beaten, but I also had to wear beautiful clothes for others to admire. I am such a beast. Early the next morning, Su Yang just woke up and heard the sound of cooking coming from the kitchen outside. It turned out that Liu Shui was preparing breakfast. While cooking, she seemed to be humming a little tune. The sound was not loud, but Su Yang still heard it. It was obvious that Liu Shui was very happy. Her voice was filled with indescribable joy and relief. Lulu, hurry up and wash up, and go to school later, don't be late. Because it is the 3rd year of junior high school, the school time is still relatively early. Liu Shui gets up early every day to work. Okay, Mom, I'll pack it up right away. There seemed to be a little bit of joy in the daughter's voice. After a while, Su Yang heard Liu Shui's footsteps, and it seemed that she was carrying a bowl and putting it on the dining table. Lulu, Mommy put the noodles on the table. Okay, I understand, Mom. Liu Shui's voice was full of happiness, relaxed and comfortable. The daughter seemed to have noticed her mother's happiness and a smile appeared on her face. She fell asleep very late last night. She listened for a long time but did not hear the sound of her father beating anyone. I didn't hear my mother crying either. It seemed like this was the first time. It seemed. Dad really didn't hit Mom yesterday. Otherwise, my mother wouldn't be so happy this early in the morning. This is the first time I've seen my mother so happy. He even hummed a little tune. Su Yang listened to the sounds outside and couldn't help but smile. What a wonderful wife. It makes me so happy. I can't describe how happy I am. Click. Just as Su Yang was dazedly recalling the beauty of last night, the door opened. Liu Shui walked in wearing the new pajamas she bought yesterday. Honey, are you awake? Have you rested well? Why don't you sleep a little longer? Liu Shui's voice still had a flattering tone, but it was obvious that there was concern. When Lele goes to school, let's take a rest. Su Yang held Liu Shui's hand and couldn't help feeling a little distressed. If it wasn't for last night, he wouldn't have known that the woman in front of him had always been whipped and tortured like this. She really suffered. Think about how introverted and weak Liu Shui was before, and then look at her gentle and frightened eyes now. It's really heartbreaking. For so many years, she has been beaten and scolded mercilessly, but she has always kept her original promise. If it weren't for this treasure-like woman, he, Su Yang, might have died long ago. Now he is reborn again. Maybe it is just to let me make up for this lovely woman? Okay, husband. I'll do whatever you say. It was obvious that Liu Shui's voice sounded a lot more relaxed. She didn't know if she was lucky that she didn't get beaten yesterday, but she deeply hoped that her husband would stop beating her in the future. Chapter 19, Take another day off. I want to be with you. Crack. With the sound of the door closing, Su Lele went to school. Su Yang and Liu Shui were the only ones left at home. Honey, I have to go to work soon. Can you please not leave today? I'm so happy. Liu Shui was held tightly in Su Yang's arms, and her mood became so good for the first time. So I bravely hoped that he would stay. Because from yesterday to now, he has really changed a lot. It even seemed like he had become a different person. In the past, every time he came back, he would stay for 2 days at most, and leave when he got tired of playing. Once he goes out, he will not come back until 3 to 5 days at the shortest, 10 days, half a month, or even a month at the longest. Well, okay, then I won't leave today. Su Yang nodded and agreed. He didn't know how he had been fooling around in the past. I don't know where I went or what I did. If my guess is correct, then it must be a bar, a card room, a mahjong room. I don't know if he fooled around with Lorraine. Looking at the previous chat records, there was only ambiguity, and I didn't find any words like dating or having sex. I don't know why. Why did he spend so much money on Lorraine in the past? During festivals, various gifts. Soo-young roughly counted the transfers and read envelopes in the WeChat chat records on his mobile phone and found that he had transferred more than 900,000 yuan to her. Damn it. This is more than 900,000. My heart feels cold whenever I think about it. This silly woman in his arms had never given her any money. All that was left to her were scars and heartache. When Liu Shui heard Soo-young say that he was not leaving, she couldn't help but get excited again. He is so gentle. He must have really changed, right? Isn't it a new trick? If so, then let us keep playing like this. Liu Shui, I'm willing. Hubby, how about, just take another day off? I want to be with you. Liu Shui really hopes that this beauty can continue forever. Maybe let time stop forever. Let him stay gentle like this forever, always be with her, and be happy. Be obedient and go to work. I won't leave today or tomorrow. Honey, your dancing is really good. I want to watch it every day. Hey. Liu Shui couldn't help but laugh shyly. Once upon a time, she seemed to have lost all sense of shame in front of him. No matter what she was asked to do, she did it without hesitation. Because she was afraid of his fist. She was afraid of the scary cane. Even though the cane is very thin, it will cause excruciating pain if it hits your body. But her husband became so gentle today that she suddenly felt shy again. Okay, honey, I'll dance for you a little longer tonight. I feel like there are still some moves I can do. When I have free time, I have to exercise well and improve my body flexibility. I know my husband likes to watch me dance. The look in your eyes yesterday, made me so happy. After the two of them had breakfast together, Liu Shui went to work humming a song happily. Soo-young was the only one left at home. Then he became a carpenter, an electrician, a sword dredge. Soo-young bought various tools and prepared to spend some time to renovate their house. The uneven table legs, the bed that squeaks when you move it. Repair them one by one. Knock, knock, knock. Someone knocks on the door. Soo-young opened the door and saw that it was a courier from JD.com. It turned out that the scar removal cream he bought had arrived. He bought this specifically for Liu Shui, hoping it would make her happier. Ding dong. While Soo-young was busy repairing the head of the bed, a message came on his cell phone. It turned out to be sent by Liu Shui. Honey, what do you want to eat for lunch? I'll buy it for you after get off work. Oh. When Soo-young read the message from Liu Shui, a warm feeling suddenly surged in his heart. This lovely woman really cares about people. Gentle, docile, and completely obedient. Last night's jaw-dropping dance was so incredible that Soo-young still finds it unbelievable. Let's buy some shrimps. We can eat some and make some for our daughter in the evening. Soo-young thought about it and sent a message back to Liu Shui. I remember that when we were in school, there was one time when Liu Shui followed him and Luo Lin to eat for free, and she secretly ate a lot of shrimps. I guess Liu Shui would like to eat shrimp, right? Hey. I really like eating shrimps, but honey, I remember you never like eating shrimps. Listen to me and buy more. After replying to the message, he immediately transferred another 2,000 yuan to Liu Shui. A moment later, Liu Shui's message came back. Honey, I still have money, I won't take it, right shy? Why don't you try to accept it? Soo-young knew that nothing could be more simple and effective than saying it this way. The most important thing is that Liu Shui is most able to accept this method, and she will be happier in her heart. If you are too gentle, she will think too much. Okay. As Soo-young expected, after the message was sent, Liu Shui quickly accepted the transfer of 2,000 yuan. Let's buy more shrimps so that the children can eat more. Their high school entrance exam is coming up soon, and they need to get enough nutrition. Yeah, I get it, hubby shy. Soo-young discovered that Liu Shui actually knew how to send him emoticons. There has never been an emoticon sent in the previous chat history. Now, her mood is indeed changing. Honey, I'm leaving now. Well, don't hesitate. Su Yang could feel Liu Shue's happiness between the lines of her words. But the original caution is still very obvious. Dang dang dang. Su Yang spent the whole morning repairing the bed. This bed is really dying of overwork. If it's not repaired, it may collapse at any time. Crack. While Su Yang was repairing the bed, Liu Shui came back. Husband. As soon as I entered the house, I heard knocking sounds coming from the bedroom. How did you fix things? A moment. Liu Shui felt her vision suddenly become blurred. Well, honey, the things on the table are bought for you. Wait until tonight, I will apply it on you. Wow. Liu Shui saw the scar removal cream on the dining table at a glance and tears suddenly welled up in her eyes. Chapter 20, Selling her for money is not impossible. Hubby. He. Liu Shui picked up the scar removal cream, ran to the bedroom, looked into Su Yang's eyes, her face full of flattering expression. There was a smile in his eyes and a blush on his handsome face. Are you happy? Honey, when I was at work today, my colleagues were envious of my new clothes and the bag you bought for me, he. Okay, wear that purple tonight so I can see it. Okay, husband, if you really want to hit me, then hit me a few times. I can bear it. Okay, let's go cook. Su Yang couldn't help but feel moved again. This wife. I would rather suffer than try every means to please myself. Okay, husband. Liu Shui said this, happily put the scar removal cream into the cupboard, and then hurried to the kitchen. When Su Yang finally fixed the big bed, Liu Shui had also prepared dinner. Honey, it's time to eat. Liu Shui called Su Yang to eat while peeling shrimp for him. Okay, got it. Su Yang made his bed and went to wash his hands. Why are you peeling so many shrimps for me? If I want to eat them, I can peel them myself. Su Yang shook his head indifferently and pushed the bowl of shrimps directly in front of Liu Shui. Husband. Liu Shui was shocked and couldn't help shivering. When I hugged you, I felt that you were too thin. You have to eat more. I like women with more flesh. Su Yang almost laughed in his heart as he spoke. In fact, Liu Shui is not that thin. The front and back are curved, and the fat parts are not bad at all. Just to get her to eat more shrimp, that's all I can say. Oh. Okay then, honey, I will definitely eat more next time, he. Liu Shui seemed to suddenly realize that Su Yang said this on purpose, and she couldn't help but look into his eyes and smile foolishly. I'm not kidding you, I'm telling the truth. Well, okay, husband, I'll eat it. Having said that, Liu Shui quickly ate up half a bowl of shrimps. Hubby, do you like Luo Lin just because she has a lot of flesh? Liu Shui looked into Su Yang's eyes and asked cautiously. If she is compared with Lorraine, she is indeed thinner than Lorraine. Who said I like Lorraine? That's not true. Su Yang shook his head lightly. I can't even hate her now, how can I possibly like her? It would be great if all the pain inflicted on Liu Shui over the years could be transferred to Luo Lin. Oh. Liu Shui didn't dare to ask more questions and quickly lowered her head to eat. Although he has been doing well so far, Luo Lin has always been his Achilles heel, so it is better to say less. Although she hated Lorraine very, very much. Oh, by the way, husband, can we go back to see Dad together on the weekend? He's old now, you can't always not go back, right? Liu Shui carefully advised while eating. Well. Su Yang couldn't help but be stunned. Yes, it's been 15 years, and I don't know how my dad is doing. Just 15 years ago, Su Yang had not yet mixed Erguotou with sleeping pills. For some unknown reason, Su Yang's father and mother had a big fight, and then his mother jumped from the building. From then on, he never returned home. Not long after that, he saw Luo Lin get into someone else's car and be kissed and touched. So, he was reborn 15 years later. He hasn't seen his father for at least 15 years. I don't know how he is doing now. Hubby, go see him, okay? Which father doesn't want his child to be close to him? Su Yang put down his chopsticks and said nothing. Yes. Actually, what Liu Shui said is quite right. Doesn't he? Su Yang also hope that Lei can be close to him? He felt very unhappy when he saw his daughter ignoring him. In fact, he still doesn't know the reason why his mom and dad quarreled. Anyway, no matter what the reason, my mother passed away after all. Su Yang had a deep relationship with his mother, so he hated his father and never went back. Wife, have you visited him? Been there? No. I haven't been there. In fact, Liu Shui would never lie, especially in front of Su Yang. As soon as he tells a lie, his eyes become extremely flustered. It's okay, I won't hit you. Su Yang shook his head and picked up the chopsticks again. Thank you, wife. As Su Yang spoke, he reached out, picked up a shrimp, and then peeled it carefully. After peeling it, he handed it to Liu Shui. Husband. Liu Shui couldn't help but be stunned, with obvious shock in her eyes. He actually peeled shrimp for me. Open your mouth. Oh. Su Yang's mood now became a little depressed because he thought about what happened to his parents before. Seeing Liu Shui opened her mouth, Su Yang directly stuffed the shrimp into it. Thank you, husband. Okay, let's go home on the weekend. Su Yang wiped his hands with a tissue and said softly. Yes, good husband. When Liu Shui heard this, there was an obvious surprise in her eyes. All the shrimps are yours, eat them all. Su Yang really didn't like eating shrimps. He didn't want to eat any more after eating just 2. Then he pushed the plate in front of Liu Shui. Liu Shui nodded like a chick eating rice. She felt that Su Yang was in a bad mood and didn't dare to speak much. Hubby, you should rest for a while. I'm going to work. I'll ask our daughter to come back in the evening. Liu Shui sat up from Su Yang's arms and prepared to go to work. The nap time was very short, the two of them just hugged and chatted for a while. Well, let's go to work. There are still so many things to fix, how can I sleep? After Liu Shui left, Su Yang started to work again. All those years ago. Although he is the man in this family, it is actually no different from having no man at all. He just treated this place as a hotel. And in his eyes, Liu Shui was just a free lady. As for what that old pervert said about selling Liu Shui for 100,000 yuan that day in the community, Su Yang actually felt that it was very likely true. Since he could beat Liu Shui like that, it means that she is not in his heart at all. It's not impossible to sell her for money. Damn. Fortunately, I was reborn early. If Liu Shui was really going to be ruined by that old pervert, that is simply unimaginable. Chapter 21, let us play the long game and get ready to fish. Ding dong. Just when Su Yang was busy, Luo Lin sent him another message. Is it Su Yang? He. Su Yang couldn't help but smile to herself. It seemed that she was a little scared by being scolded by Liu Shui. I don't even dare to call you baby. Yes, it's Lin baby, have you missed me these 2 days? Baby, is your stomachache gone? I miss you so much. Vomit. Su Yang endured the discomfort and continued to deal with her. Well, it's almost done. I'll be at home this afternoon. Do you want to come over and play with me? Hate it. I'm not going to your house. You promised to buy me a bag, but you didn't even give me money, humph. Damn, he talks about money every 3 sentences. I don't even know what you smell like, you slut, how can you give me money? Back then, I didn't even get to kiss your little mouth, but I was so angry that I died. Now that I'm reborn, I have to take revenge. Baby, please stop talking about money all the time. It's so tacky. We've been together for so many years, don't you know how I treat you? Humph. I saw another bottle of perfume yesterday, and it costs more than 10,000 yuan. Damn, it's still about money. Oh, honey, I met someone these days. His Liu Shui's relative. He's so rich. He drives a Maybach. Su Yang planned to set a trap for this little slut. Find a way to get her little by little. Let her lose both her money and her life. What? Liu Shui's relative. Don't mention this yellow-faced woman of yours to me, it's making me mad. What's wrong, baby? Can't you check the WeChat records? She scolded me so harshly, Wuwu. No, you have to beat her to death. I looked it up, but I didn't see any record. Humph. She deleted them all. I'll take a screenshot and send it to you. A moment later. Luo Lin sent over the screenshots of her and Liu Shui quarreling. Did you see that? That bitch scolded me for this. I'm so mad. Su Yang, didn't you say last time that you wanted to sell her to Wang Liuliu from your community for 100,000 yuan? Cough cough cough. Damn it. It turns out that old pervert is called Wang Liuliu. It turns out that I really discussed with him about selling Liu Shui to him. When I was sick this time, a relative of Liu Shui's came over and introduced me to an opportunity to make money. How could I dare to sell her out? Wouldn't that be destroying my future money? Is this relative of hers really rich? He drives a Maybach. Yes, honey, this relative is about 40 years old, handsome, and very rich. I heard that he is not married yet. Su Yang began to set up the fishing lines and hooks. Anyway, tell her a story first. Real. When Luo Lin saw Su Yang's message, her heart couldn't help but beat fast. Isn't this the opportunity she's been waiting for all these years? From college to now, I have had 20 to 30 boyfriends. She has never met anyone who satisfies her. Now that there is such a good opportunity, we must seize it. Well, of course, baby. She's also Liu Shui's close relative. She never told me about it before. That's great. Can you introduce him to me? And ask him to introduce me to some money-making opportunities. It seems that Luo Lin is indeed tempted. For Luo Lin, Su Yang has always been her most loyal bootlicker. I have been licking it since college. So, she didn't think Su Yang would deceive her. If you say that, then it must be true. This is not good, baby, I can't bear to let you go. You are so pretty and cute. What if he falls in love with you? What should I do? Su Yang couldn't help but laugh. A woman like her would definitely take the bait. Look at what you said, don't you know how I feel about you? Don't worry, baby, no matter what time, my heart belongs to you. Well, I think we should wait and see. He is a close relative of Liu Shui. Since you and Liu Shui are so upset, I think we should just forget it. Su Yang took a step back and began to reject Luo Lin. Both reasons are reasonable. Baby, you don't know, Liu Shui is so arrogant now, I don't dare to touch her at all. She also told me not to contact you anymore, otherwise she wouldn't let her relatives introduce me to opportunities to make big money. Okay, Liu Shui is coming soon, let's stop talking for now. Okay. That's enough chatting. I have to give Lorraine a special and different signal. As for the rest, let him guess. Given her personality, she would definitely find ways to continue to contact Su Yang to learn more. My dear, I know you must be mad at me these past 2 days, right? I've been having problems these past 2 days, and I'm not feeling well. Otherwise, I would definitely go over and accompany you right now, Shy. After reading Luo Lin's message, Su Yang did not respond and continued to keep waiting. Baby, I know you must have missed me these past few days, so I'll send you a selfie of myself in pajamas. It's definitely better looking than your yellow-faced wife. This is actually Lorraine's usual method. She always deceives people with private photos, touching hands and feet, and other small favors. Moreover, you have to give her benefits before you can get her. Soon. Lorraine then sent 3 private selfies of her in pajamas. Fuck. When Su Yang saw Luo Lin's photo, he was stunned. This woman looked quite innocent when she was in school. Why do I feel so flirty now? There is nothing wrong with her face and figure. But her whole person exudes a strong sense of coquettishness. Su Yang, who was staring at it, shuddered. Although Liu Shui was also very charming when she was dancing, her charm was only shown to Su Yang. Her love and sincerity are only for Su Yang. These are 2 completely different styles. Lorraine's is disgusting and makes people feel dirty. It's like being chewed by many people. Can you put it in your mouth and taste it? Oh. It's so fucking disgusting. But Liu Shui's makes people feel that she is the purest in the world. People can't help but want to protect her. Moreover, her unique style is full of courage and dedication. It is a manifestation of sincere love. See, baby, isn't she much prettier than your yellow-faced wife, Shy? Lorraine later posted 2 more selfies taken from different angles. But Su Yang never replied to her message again. It was too disgusting. Seeing it too much would affect his appetite. Chapter 22 Su Leilei's Change. It was not until Liu Shui got home from get-off work that Su Yang finished repairing what needed to be done. It took a whole day. Hubby, you've worked so hard. You didn't even have time to drink water all afternoon, did you? When Liu Shui returned home and saw Su Yang cleaning up the debris left after the repairs, her eyes suddenly lit up. He was so patient today. As she spoke, she hurriedly poured a cup of warm water and brought it to Su Yang's mouth. Hubby, drink some water quickly. Whether it is their voice or the ingratiating smile, they both make people feel extremely sweet and enjoyable. Gudong gudong. Su Yang drank a few sips of water and then continued to clean up. Liu Shui went to the kitchen and called Su Lele. Lulu, come home in the evening. Dad bought you some prawns. Mom is cooking them. There was ease and happiness in Liu Shui's voice. Yeah, got it, Mom. This time, the daughter agreed without much hesitation. She could naturally hear that her mother was indeed very happy. After all, happiness is something that is difficult to fake. After Su Yang finished cleaning up, he sat at the dining table and looked at Liu Shui, who was busy in the kitchen. That figure, those long legs, that face. The more you watch it, the more irritating it gets. As he watched, Su Yang was reminded of her graceful and free-spirited dance. Really? So tempting. So touching. Her beauty and charm bloom only for me. Her love lasts only for me. Hubby, what are you looking at? Liu Shui seemed to feel Su Yang's scanning gaze and turned to look at him. Look at you. I'm wondering what to wear tonight. Well, it's all right. I can wear whatever my husband wants me to wear. Liu Shui knew that if her husband didn't beat her like he did yesterday, she still wouldn't reject what happened every night. Even if I have to dance for him every day, I would do it willingly. As long as he is as gentle as yesterday, I can still be very happy. The meal was ready and the two sat together chatting. Liu Shui snuggled in Su Yang's arms, being hugged so tightly that she seemed a little suffocated. She really liked being held by Su Yang like this. Because only in this way can she feel that this man really cares about her. As long as she wasn't beaten too hard, she felt she would be willing to do anything. If nothing else, she just wanted to make him happy. As long as her man is happy, then she will be happy too. Ding ling ling. Liu Shui's phone rang. It was her daughter Lele calling. Hello? Lele, why haven't you come home yet? Mom, I was riding my bike and I ran over a brick and fell down. I think I sprained my ankle. It hurts. Where are you? Mommy will pick you up right away. Liu Shui became anxious when she heard her daughter's miserable voice on the phone. Just out of the school gate, about 200 meters south, I'm on the roadside. Okay, wait a moment, Mom will be here soon. Having said that, Liu Shui hung up the phone. Honey, Lele sprained her ankle. I have to go pick her up right away. Can you wait at home for a while? Although Liu Shui was very anxious, there was still a flattering look on her face. Let's go, together. Su Yang didn't stop at all and stood up immediately. He ran to the bedroom, got the car keys, then pulled Liu Shui and ran downstairs. Husband. Looking at Su Yang's actions and expression, he seemed to be more worried about her daughter than she was. Liu Shui suddenly felt warmer in her heart. Thump, thump, thump. Su Yang walked very fast and Liu Shui followed him, jogging all the way. After a while, with the roar of a car, Su Yang and Liu Shui rushed out of the community and headed towards their daughter's school. It is quite close from home to school. It only takes my daughter about 10 minutes to ride a bike there. A few minutes later, Liu Shui saw her daughter on the roadside. He was standing on one foot, holding onto a roadside electric pole. Soon, Su Yang drove around the intersection ahead and soon arrived next to his daughter. Su Lele looked at the car parked beside him with confusion. Isn't this Dad's car? He was the one who came to pick me up. Lele, are you okay? Liu Shui hurriedly opened the car door and came to Su Lele's side. Su Yang also got out of the car and walked over quickly. It still hurts. Come on, Lele, get in the car first. Dad will take you to the hospital. Su Yang reached out, opened the back door, and asked his daughter to get in the car. Liu Shui quickly helped her daughter into the car and sat in the back seat. Su Yang put his daughter's bicycle into the trunk. Doctor, is my daughter's foot okay? Yeah, it's okay. Just apply 2 plasters and rest for a day or 2 and it will be fine. Don't worry. After hearing the doctor's words, Su Yang finally felt relieved. He was shocked when he heard his daughter fell just now. After getting the plaster from the hospital, the family of 3 drove home. Because I was driving, I didn't waste too much time. Arriving at the community, after parking the car. Mom, my feet still hurt. Walk slowly, come, Mom will help you walk slowly. Come on Lele, let Daddy carry you. Seeing his daughter walking in pain, Su Yang felt a little bit sorry for her. I'll have to walk up the stairs later, and it will definitely hurt more. Need not. The daughter shook her head and refused. She doesn't like this father at all. Although the impression is a little better now, I don't want him to touch me, or it feels a little awkward. Silly child, he is your father. He was more anxious than your mother just now. Dad has always loved you. Sulele didn't say anything, but continued to limp forward stubbornly. Suyang sighed slightly, then came to his daughter, bent down and picked her up. No explanation. Go straight home. Sulele was stunned for a moment. Even my brain went blank. She looked at her father blankly as he carried her home step by step and put her on the bed in the cabin. Silly child, see how much your father loves you. Liu Shui said gently as she helped her daughter change her slippers. Sulele didn't say anything, but just looked at Suyang, who had already walked out of the house. But there seemed to be a hint of indescribable warmth in her stubborn eyes. Chapter 23. Silly wife, why are you so nice to me? Lulu, Daddy has been repairing things at home all day today. He is so nice to me now. Daddy has really changed. You weigh almost as much as Mom now, you're so heavy. Just now Dad carried you so far away, I saw sweat all over his forehead. Lele, does Daddy love you very much? Liu Shui was chatting quietly with Sulele in the room. His face was full of smiles. Humph, I'm afraid he's just a flash in the pan. If he doesn't beat Mom again, I'm sure. Don't worry, Lele. Your father has apologized to me. He speaks to me very gently now, and he doesn't hit me anymore. The two chatted for a while and then went out to eat. Suyang had also been waiting patiently for the mother and daughter. Another peaceful and happy night. Liu Shui still wasn't beaten. But she danced for a long time yesterday and changed into 2 sets of clothes. Although Liu Shui was a little tired, when she saw Suyang's dazed look, she felt that it was worth it even if she died of exhaustion. Being able to make her man so happy is her greatest happiness. And so, 2 more days passed. The weekend is here. Because of her graduating class, Sulele does not rest on weekends. Today Suyang and Liu Shui plan to go see their father. After so many years. Suyang even forgot what he looked like. And I have no idea what's going on with him now. Where do you live now? Have you found a partner? How is your health? It can be said that he has no idea about his current situation. Why buy so many things? In the supermarket, Liu Shui kept putting things into the shopping cart, while Suyang was just pushing the cart from behind. Hubby, after all, we haven't been back to see him since we got married. I want to make Dad happier. Suyang was silent and said nothing more. Forget it, let us just follow Liu Shui's wishes. Anyway, this wife really considers him in everything. Hey, husband, why haven't you hit me these days? Seeing that Suyang seemed a little unhappy, Liu Shui quickly came forward and quietly changed the subject. You really want me to hit you? Hey. Oh, I see. Suyang looked at Liu Shui's ingratiating smile, and a warm feeling instantly surged in his heart. Why? I have such a good wife, why couldn't I treat her well before? Honey, what do you think of this? Forehead. Suyang took Liu Shui's phone and was stunned. You like this? Suyang held back his laughter and glanced at Liu Shui. Liu Shui nodded without hesitation, with a look of longing in her eyes. Hey, honey, I checked it out, and people say it doesn't hurt. Okay, place your order. Suyang reached out and pinched Liu Shui's face, and his heart couldn't help but get excited again. I never expected. In order to please herself, Liu Shui actually came up with such an interesting idea. The two came out of the supermarket and loaded all the things into the car. Where does he live now? Suyang now has no idea where his father lives. The place where I lived before was demolished a long time ago. Honey, let me be your navigator. Har har, I knew you must visit him often. Suyang nodded lightly and reached out to stroke Liu Shui's face. Hey. He is our father after all, and I hope you can get back together one day. Liu Shui looked at Suyang in a flattering manner, her eyes full of apology. This wife is really thoughtful. Suyang started the car and, following Liu Shui's navigation, headed towards where his father lived. Silly Ni, when did you get in touch with him? Suyang couldn't help but change the way he addressed Liu Shui. Hearing Suyang's new name for her, Liu Shui couldn't help but laugh happily. She liked the new name very much. Because she could hear Suyang's love for her from it. Since we got married, because you never went and even beat me, so I went to see it secretly. Have you been there all these years? Hey, yeah, hubby, you're not mad at me, are you? Liu Shui looked at Su Yang with flickering eyes, still feeling a little worried. Too lazy to get angry. Su Yang shook his head lightly and reached out to twist Liu Shui's ear. Of course, it's a very light one. How is he doing now? Has he found a new old lady? No, Dad never looked for him again, and every time I saw him, he was in a bad mood. There are several photos of mothers-in-law in his room. Husband, mothers-in-law are so beautiful. Well, that's. Su Yang nodded and responded softly. He now lives in the Binjiang Garden neighborhood. By the way, my husband, his hair has already turned completely white. Oh. Listening to Liu Shui's introduction, Su Yang felt his heart become heavy. He knew that his father must have been thinking about his mother or blaming himself all these years. The relationship between my parents is still very good. But no one knew what happened between them later, and Su Yang still doesn't know until now. Silly Ni, did he tell you what happened back then? No. He never said anything about it over the years, and seeing that he was in a bad mood, I didn't dare to ask. Okay, got it. Su Yang reached out and held Liu Shui's small hand, which was warm and soft. You knew I liked Luo Lin, so why were you so stupid to marry me? I also beat you for so many years, aren't you stupid? You know what, husband, I've always liked you. Whenever I see you and Lorraine together, I feel sad. After I learned that you were in trouble that day, I went crazy looking for you everywhere. I don't know what's going on, I just can't let you go. You are such a fool, what can I say about you? Su Yang turned his head quietly, rubbed his eyes with his hands, and his eyes were wet. Why? Silly wife, why are you so nice to me? Chapter 24. I'm not used to being nice to you. Hubby, as long as you truly love me, I won't regret anything in the past. Liu Shui leaned in the driver's seat, watching Su Yang's every move carefully. Just now. He was wiping his eyes, and it seemed that his eyes were a little wet. You know what, husband, I don't know if you've beaten me too much over the years, maybe there's something wrong with my mind. I've been feeling weird these past 2 days. Why do you blame your wife? Su Yang couldn't help but look at Liu Shui curiously. The elder sister's face was flushed, like a little girl who was just beginning to fall in love. Hubby, I feel like I'm dreaming these past few days. Hey, I feel like I've got a new husband. Liu Shui looked at Su Yang, the smile in her eyes became more intense, and the flattery became stronger. Even her long legs unconsciously leaned towards Su Yang. It looks like it's ready for you to pick. Then, isn't it good for my husband to be like this? Hey, of course, and my daughter's attitude towards you has obviously changed. Hey. Is it because your husband was too mean to you before, and now he's suddenly nice to you, and you're a little uncomfortable with it? Su Yang turned his head to look at Liu Shui, and grabbed her hand with a little heartache. In fact, he knew very well. I have been reborn, and my thoughts are different from before. I have been feeling it carefully these past few days. You are really gentle to me. I can really be sure that my husband really cares about me and loves me. As Liu Shui spoke, her eyes became moist again, and even clear tears seeped out. In fact, as long as my husband truly loves me, even if you really hit me, I will still be happy. I don't know what's wrong, hubby, I like you so much the way you are now. Am I dreaming? As Liu Shui spoke, her face seemed to be covered with a layer of red cloth. Even his movements became a little awkward. There seemed to be a hint of unspeakable happiness and longing in his eyes. Forehead. In an instant, Su Yang understood. It seems that this wife has really suffered too much. Why? Su Yang couldn't help feeling sad. Such a good and docile woman had such humble requests to him. If you love her. Even if she was beaten, she was happy. From now on, I must love her well. She can never be allowed to suffer any injustice again. And my daughter also needs to be taken good care of so that she can be happy like other people as soon as possible. Riverside Garden is a bit remote, and Su Yang drove for more than an hour to get there. Although this place is remote, the environment is very good and you can stay away from the hustle and bustle of the city. The people who live here mainly want to find peace and quiet. Honey, turn right ahead, Building 37, Unit 1. Under Liu Shui's guidance, Su Yang quickly parked the car in the parking space downstairs. The two of them took down bags of gifts from the trunk. Call. Su Yang's mood was complicated and his heart was pounding. I haven't seen my dad for many years, and I don't know what it will be like when I see him again. Should I call him Dad? Will he still recognize my son? Will you still recognize me? Honey, don't be nervous. I've actually told Dad that you're coming. Oh. Su Yang calmed himself down, then walked towards the unit door with Liu Shui. My dad's house is on the 9th floor, on the east side. When Su Yang walked out of the elevator, he saw that the door of room 901 was open. Su Yang took a deep breath and glanced at Liu Shui beside him. Honey, don't be nervous. No matter how long you have been apart, since you have decided to meet, you have to overcome the awkwardness of the first meeting. As soon as he entered the door, Su Yang was stunned. There stood an old man in the living room, with grey hair and a stick in his hand. Trembling slightly. His eyes were red and he stared at the person coming in through the door. Su Yang really wanted to shout, Dad, but when the words reached his throat, he felt like his voice was hoarse. My throat suddenly became very painful. It feels like being in the desert for 3 days without a drop of water. Dad, Su Yang and I are here to see you. Liu Shui took 2 quick steps and placed the gift in her hand on the coffee table. Then he turned around and took the thing in Su Yang's hand. Well. It seemed that my father couldn't utter a complete sentence. Although he answered Liu Shui, his eyes were always fixed on Su Yang. Husband. Liu Shui gently reminded Su Yang, hoping that he would take the initiative to call her dad. But Su Yang opened his mouth several times but no sound came out. My throat hurts. It feels like a knife cut. Come on, Dad, please sit down first. Su Yang has always wanted to come and see you, but he has been very busy recently and has not found the time. Seeing this, Liu Shui hurried forward to help Su Yang's father. He sat down on the sofa tremblingly. Then he reached out and wiped his eyes. Actually, he didn't blame his son at all for not visiting him. But in his heart, he really wanted his son to come and see him. After so many years. Looking forward to it. However, he did not dare to ask his son to come and see him. Things of the past. I can still remember it vividly. Su Yang's mother's voice, appearance and smile seemed to be still the same as yesterday. Gudong gudong. Su Yang picked up a cup of warm water on the coffee table and drank it directly. My throat finally feels better. Dad, I'm here to see you. Su Yang also turned around and sat on the sofa, turned his head and said softly. He knew that this sentence had to be said. If he wanted to understand the situation back then, he had to ask his father to tell him. Good. Dad kept rubbing his eyes and responded softly. His son came to see him and he was really happy. Knock, knock, knock. The door was not closed yet, and a man in a suit who looked like an agent was knocking on the door. Uncle Su, the rent for your 99 houses has been collected this month. Let me tell you, do you want to see the bill? No need to look at it. Su Yang's father didn't even look up, he just waved at the door. Chapter 25. They really look like father and son. Forehead. Su Yang was stunned when he heard this. What 99 properties? Dad has 99 properties. How come I didn't know this after all these years? Liu Shui was also stunned. She pulled Su Yang beside her and looked at him with a puzzled expression. Su Yang shook his head, I don't know. Xiaoxue, go close the door. Okay, Dad. After hearing what her father said, Liu Shui quickly got up and closed the door. It seems like he might be about to say something. Crack. The door is closed. Yan, I'm sorry to your mother, Wuwu. Su Yang's father turned his head to look at his son, and suddenly he couldn't hold it anymore. He covered his face with his hands and cried loudly. Su Yang was stunned by his father's crying. Liu Shui returned and sat down beside him, not daring to say a word. For a long time, Su Yang didn't say a word, and didn't know how to persuade him, he just stared blankly. Liu Shui also leaned quietly against Su Yang, crying with him. After being suppressed for so many years, it would be nice to cry in front of my son and daughter-in-law. There are no outsiders anyway. It's not a sin for a man to cry. Yan, I know you hate Dad. It's been 15 years. I've spent every day in regret. If your mother didn't leave, it would be so nice for our family to be together, Wuwu. How did you let my mother down? When Su Yang mentioned his mother, he couldn't help hating his father. Then, His mother loved him so much and took care of him, but suddenly she jumped off the building because of his father. Until now, he still doesn't know the reason. Hey, you saw it just now, it's because of those dozens of houses. Suyang's father wiped his tears and sobbed. I'm really not a human being. For another woman who doesn't love me at all, and to make your mother disappointed. Slowly, Suyang's father began to narrate his past. Turn out to be. Suyang's father was once a loyal bootlicker of a woman. Spent countless money on that woman. But later the woman dumped him. Suyang's mother is his childhood sweetheart and has always had a crush on him. He married her when he was at his lowest. Originally, they had a happy family and a lovely son Suyang. But later, after being dumped, the woman came back to find Suyang's father, hoping to rekindle their relationship. Then, Suyang's father's old love relapsed, and he secretly contacted that woman again. Continued to spend a lot of money on that woman. In fact, Suyang's father is very good at real estate speculation. Through his own efforts, he has earned more than 300 houses. But he never told his family that he owned so many houses, including Suyang. Then one day, when Suyang's mother returned home, she saw the wonderful scene in the bedroom. It turned out that Suyang's father and that woman were having sex. They were also talking about giving all the property to that woman. Then, Suyang's mother completely collapsed. So, I resolutely chose to commit suicide. I'm so confused. That woman came to me just for my money. Once I ran out of money, she would run away faster than anyone else. The dead cannot be resurrected. I regret this. Wuwu. Suyang's father cried so painfully. It was as if he had lost his most precious thing. Suyang listened quietly, his face turning red and white. He didn't even dare to look at Liu Shui beside him. Over the past 15 years, he seems to be following his father's old path. Fortunately, Liu Shui remained strong and endured, and finally waited for his rebirth. Fortunately, it's not too late. Liu Shui hugged Suyang's arms tightly, tears falling down her face. Sympathize with my mother-in-law, sympathize with my father-in-law, and even a little sympathy for myself. But she also felt extremely lucky. After all, her husband suddenly changed his mind. These days, I can say that I have never been more gentle to her than now. So much so that Liu Shui even felt that she really wanted him to hit her again. For a man who truly loves you, you will cry with a smile even if you are beaten hard. They really look like father and son. Suyang couldn't help but let out a long sigh. He is indeed much luckier than his father. At least Liu Shui is still in his arms now. No matter how he beat and scolded her, she still endured it and loved him deeply as always. Even though her love has become deformed, she still persists without hesitation. Okay, Dad, stop crying. I don't hate you anymore. Suyang hesitated for a while and finally said something to persuade his father. You are more pitiful than me, at least Liu Shui is still by my side. As he said that, Suyang hugged Liu Shui in his arms, holding her very tightly. It even made her breathless. Husband. Liu Shui looked up at Suyang, her eyes red and full of happiness and expectation. Yan Yan, treat Xieshua well. Remember not to follow my old path. And, don't worry. Although Suyang no longer hated his father, his words were not gentle. How can I be gentle now that my beloved mother is gone? Well, okay, if Xieshua Auntie come to see me so often and said good things about you over the years, I might have lost hope at all. I've actually wanted to go find your mother for a long time. What are you looking for? Live well. Bang. Suyang couldn't help but get angry and slammed the coffee table with his hand. You have a big granddaughter now, so pretty and cute. Don't you want to meet her? All right. Live well, I'll come back to see you later. Suyang now felt upset, so he pulled Liu Shui up and turned to leave. Husband. Shut up. Liu Shui was frightened and dared not speak anymore. He followed Suyang and left. Although Suyang knew his father's pain, he still couldn't let go of the hatred in his heart so quickly. It takes time for this catalyst. Come and slowly forget the previous pain. Chapter 26. I finally couldn't help hitting her. Boom. After Liu Shui got into the car, Suyang stepped on the accelerator and poured it into the fuel tank. He was very irritable and didn't want to stay for a moment. The car quickly left the community, rushed onto the main road, and headed straight to the suburbs. Liu Shui looked at Su Yang nervously, trembling with fear. She knew that he was really irritable. Now you'd better stay here obediently and be prepared to be beaten up by him at any time. In the past. He is often in this state, feeling moody. After a while, the car drove into an open park with few people. The park is full of trees and the environment is very good. Squeak. The car stopped and Su Yang lay on the steering wheel without saying a word. What happened between his mom and dad made him very upset. If he were to say who he loves the most in this world, it must be his mother. But my mother chose to commit suicide because she was betrayed. Why? It's really not worth it. For a long time, Su Yang sat up straight and turned to look at Liu Shui, who was so frightened that she dared not move. Go to the back. Liu Shui nodded quickly, got out of the passenger seat, and sat in the back seat. She doesn't know what her husband does. I was always very nervous. Su Yang also got out of the car and came to the back seat. As soon as she stretched out her hand, Liu Shui was held in Su Yang's arms. Very tight. Su Yang knew that Liu Shui liked being hugged tightly by him like this, the tighter the better. And he also wanted to release his inner depression in this way. Husband. Liu Shui seemed to feel a little suffocated. But her face was flushed. She likes being held by Su Yang like this, she feels so safe. She felt. Although Su Yang was very depressed, his love for her did not diminish at all. For a long time. Hubby, I love you. No matter how you treat me, I will be with you forever. Liu Shui pouted her red lips in a flattering manner, her breathing becoming a little rapid. Hey, I treated you so badly before and beat you every day. Well, as long as my husband loves me, I'll be happy even if he beats me. I know my husband loves me very much. Being beaten by someone who loves me doesn't matter. Liu Shui murmured, her eyes a little dazed. First, she felt Su Yang's love for her when she was most upset. Par. Su Yang rubbed Liu Shui's hair and patted it gently. Husband. Liu Shui blushed and whispered as she snuggled in Su Yang's arms. Eyes twinkling, full of happiness. 100,000 words omitted, readers can join the author's fan group. This open park is extremely peaceful. Until Su Yang and Liu Shui were about to leave, no one passed by. Hubby, thank you for loving me so much. I'm so happy. Su Yang's love made Liu Shui feel particularly good. Honey, are you hungry? Can I go home and cook for you? Well, let's go. Su Yang shook his head, feeling that the way he treated Liu Shui just now wasn't gentle enough. After. We still need to be more gentle. But unexpectedly, Liu Shui became even happier. His words became softer and his eyes more flattering. Ding dong. As soon as the two of them sat in the front and started the car, Liu Shui's cell phone rang. Honey, Luo Lin added me on WeChat. Should I approve her? Let her pass, huh? This bastard. Su Yang nodded and then cursed again. Yes, good husband. Although Liu Shui didn't know why Su Yang let him pass, she knew that he would definitely not like that woman anymore. Honey, she was trying to get close to me and saying nice things to me, and she even apologized to me. Liu Shui took out her cell phone and read the message from Luo Lin to Su Yang. Well, I told her a story. After Su Yang vented his anger, he felt much better. So he told Liu Shui about his plan to take revenge on Luo Lin. No matter what, I can't let her have an easy time. This woman cheated me out of nearly 2 million yuan at least, just 10 million yuan. Well. Okay, husband, I'll listen to you. Of course Liu Shui hated Luo Lin very much too. For more than 10 years, Su Yang had been controlled by Luo Lin. So that their little family is in dire straits all day long. Don't scold her or talk to her too much, just act like you don't want to talk to her. If she wants to find that close relative through you, just refuse directly. Anyway, don't give her any chances. It's up to your husband to handle the rest. Yeah, good hubby. Liu Shui looked at Su Yang happily and nodded continuously. She knew that Su Yang had really changed his mind and no longer liked Luo Lin. As long as that woman didn't instigate him, Su Yang would definitely be the best man in the world. In every aspect, very impressive. Honey, she is really asking me about that close relative. Humph. This bitch is only thinking about other people's money. She has had no less than 20 boyfriends. Such a woman is so disgusting. Yeah, that's right, it's really disgusting. Su-yang couldn't help but feel embarrassed. For so many years, Su-yang was at the mercy of such a disgusting woman. Fortunately, I have little money, otherwise. He must have been cheated out of so many houses just like his dad. In a big city like Jiangcheng, houses are very expensive. Just say you don't know. Even if you know, don't tell her. And don't let her have any ideas about your husband. Well, that's her reply. This woman is so shameless. As long as there's money to be made, she'll find ways to get close to you. Since there was no rush to go home, Su-yang drove very slowly. Liu Shui leaned against the passenger seat, looking at Su-yang happily, feeling more and more happy. Honey, the good stuff I bought on JD.com has been shipped and will arrive tomorrow morning, hee hee. Okay. Har har. Su-yang held Liu Shui's hand and couldn't help feeling excited again. As soon as I was reborn, I met such an excellent wife. What a lucky guy. Chapter 27. Let us become our newly married today. You're still buying me wine? Aren't you afraid that I'll get drunk and go crazy? The two bought some vegetables in the supermarket, and Liu Shui even went to their wine rack and took a bottle of red wine. On a nice weekend, couples and red wine are a better match. Liu Shui is also a romantic person. Over the past few days, she felt that her married life with Su-yang was getting better. He loves himself and his daughter. The performances these days are really perfect. Just like in Liu Shui's dream. Even though I hit her today, it didn't hurt at all. And it also made her feel a different kind of love. Hey, let's drink one bottle, we won't get drunk. I know my husband has changed, he's not the same as before. The scars left by more than 10 years of beatings and scoldings certainly cannot be removed overnight. But as long as Su-yang doesn't get angry, Liu Shui will feel particularly relaxed. Especially in recent days, she felt so relaxed that it seemed unreal. Until today when Su-yang hugged her like that in the car. Only then did she feel that the happiness that belonged to her, Liu Shui, had finally arrived. Okay, I'll listen to you. Looking at Liu Shui's shy smile, Su-yang couldn't help but nodded. Being taken care of by a woman like this, it's such a blessing. When I woke up after my rebirth, I thought she was a young lady who received customers. That pitiful and helpless look, the gentle yet persistent emotion. This really shocked Su-yang deeply. Honey, you're very tired today. Go and have a rest for a while. I'll call you when I'm done cooking. Well, I'm going to take a break. Su-yang nodded and went straight to the bedroom. I changed into my pajamas and went straight into bed. I'm a bit tired indeed. Although Su-yang's sole memory is when he was 21 years old, his body is 36. Moreover, I used to play cards, drink and hang out a lot, and my life was not regular at all, so my health was not very good. I was busy in the car for a while this morning and I am indeed a little tired. On the contrary, Liu Shui was full of energy and didn't look tired at all. She used to practice dance regularly, and her physical condition is indeed much better than Su-yang's. Ding dong. Su-yang turned over and picked up the phone from the bedside table. It turned out that it was a message from that slut Luo Lin. Baby, I miss you so much. What do you miss about me, sis? Anyway, you definitely won to get my money. I don't give you anything. When will Liu Shui's relative come to see you next time? Or why not invite me to have dinner with you? I'll pay for it. I don't know, probably soon. But whenever we have a meal together, Liu Shui will definitely be there. Regarding this matter, if Liu Shui agrees, I can agree too. I'm afraid that person will fall in love with you. You are the most beautiful woman I have ever seen in the world. Baby, you think too much. After so many years, how can I not understand your feelings? I know Liu Shui listens to you the most, why don't you talk to her more? Just saying that without any real reason. Over the years, I know you and her have always had a bad relationship, and she probably won't listen to me. That's easy. I'll go buy her a bag this afternoon. What woman doesn't like bags? Luo Lin contacted Liu Shui in the morning, but was rejected outright. But if I buy gifts and Su-yang mediates, it will definitely be better. Doesn't that mean you're spending a lot of money? I bought her a bag worth more than 10,000 yuan 2 days ago. However, she did tell me that she wanted to buy a necklace. But all my money is invested in the project, so I can't buy it for her for now. Su-yang couldn't help but smile secretly, and give the other person a taste of his own medicine. As long as she wants to pursue the big boss, she will definitely be willing to spend some money. These years, Luo Lin has fooled so many men, but she still has quite a bit of savings. 30,000 or 50,000 is definitely a small amount. But if she buys a gift, she may not spend her own money, but may trick other men into buying it for her. It's no big deal. I'll go buy one for her this afternoon. Don't worry, based on my understanding of her, I guarantee she will be satisfied. Luo Lin is indeed much richer than Su Yang now. In order to get to know the big boss, she really doesn't care about this little investment. Although she looked down on Su Yang, she believed in Su Yang's loyalty to her. After so many years, I have mastered it very well. It's just that my baby spent a lot of money. Now I am still polite to Liu Shui and I don't even dare to hit her. Sigh. Why don't we just be polite to her from now on? Aren't we just thinking about making a lot of money? Well, baby is talking about. Damn it, let's see if this bitch will take the bait this afternoon. Once you have the first one, there will be a second one. Keep increasing her sunk costs and see how much she can get out of it. Husband. Su Yang was sleeping soundly when he suddenly heard a delicate voice waking him up. Well. When I opened my eyes, I couldn't help but be shocked. In broad daylight, Liu Shui actually changed into clothes that she would wear for dancing at night. A flattering smile spread across his face. Seem. She was still immersed in the atmosphere of the morning in the car. Does it still hurt? It's still a little red, it's okay, it doesn't hurt at all, hee hee. Wake up, honey. The meal is ready and the wine is poured. This is the first time in our lives that we have such a romantic meal together. Yes, good wife. Su Yang smiled and nodded, then quickly sat up. I've been married for 10 years, but I've never had such a romantic meal with her. Since she takes it so seriously, and even changed into those mind-boggling clothes, then I should spend some time with her. For Liu Shui, this happiness was hard-earned. What is the most common thing in the eyes of others may be the happiness that she has not experienced for many years. A simple meal, a bottle of cheap wine. It can make her so happy that she can't help herself. After washing up, the two sat face to face at the dining table. There is a red candle lit on the table. The fiery and flickering candlelight is just like the mood of the two at the moment, warm and affectionate. Hubby, toast to us, let's treat us as newlyweds today. Good. Su Yang looked at Liu Shui's enchanting body and blushing face, and nodded heavily.